Facing the double-tailed tiger cat's snapping jaws, Luo Xia remained unnervingly calm. He planted his feet, gripped his longsword, and swung, striking the beast's mouth. Riding the momentum of its charge, he shoved with both hands and rolled back at speed. Luo Feng, standing nearby, dodged as well. At that moment, Gao Feng finally caught up. He roared and swung his twin hammers in a wide arc like a windmill, driving them toward the monster. Beast, die! True to its rank as a beast general-level monster, the double-tailed tiger cat whipped around and met Gao Feng's assault with its claws. Two heavy impacts rang out. Both Gao Feng and the beast staggered. Luo Xia, having just slipped aside, surged forward again. He leapt high. At the apex of his jump, he locked his gaze, twisted his body, and plunged downward like an inverted spear. The sword's edge flashed like moonlight. Pushing his strength to 4 times normal and adding the force of his fall, Luo Xia's single strike cleaved the air into visible white lines. There was a sickening sound as steel met flesh. The tiger cat, unprepared for the sudden follow-up and unable to react to Luo Xia's speed, took the blade straight into the back of its neck. The beast howled in pain, its head thrown back, sound waves rippling through the air. It thrashed, trying to fling Luo Xia off. "Captain!" Luo Xia shouted, but the longsword had sunk deep and was held fast by the creature's tough muscle. He couldn't pull it free. Gao Feng understood immediately. He charged, feet pounding, and vaulted up, bringing both hammers down on the sword's hilt. The impact was heavy and dull. The blow drove the sword fully home, embedding it into the tiger cat's flesh. Blood spurted from the creature's mouth. Its eyes glazed over, and after a moment of stunned silence, the massive body collapsed to the ground. Gao Feng panted and looked at Luo Xia, who was also breathing hard. This kid, he actually managed to pierce the defenses of a beast general-level monster. Half a kilometer away, on the roof of a 6-story building, 6 members of the Tiger Fang squad watched through binoculars. The one-eyed, middle-aged man frowned. "Captain, there are too many monsters around. We can't get to the Silver Moon Dire Wolf 10 miles away without alerting most of them." The Tiger Fang captain frowned, weighing options. Then he noticed the Firehammer squad battling the Tiger Cat below. "It's the Firehammer squad," one of them said. Zhang Zehu blinked in surprise. "Why are they in this county town?" Because Luo Feng and Zhang Haobai hadn't truly become enemies, Zhang Zehu didn't recognize Luo Feng here and felt no resentment. He was simply puzzled that a warrior general squad had turned up in a place like this. The one-eyed man added, "They've got 2 unfamiliar faces in their squad, probably new recruits. That's why." All 6 of the Tiger Fang squad were watching with growing interest as Luo Xia and Gao Feng finished off the monster. "That young man is a recruit? He actually broke through a beast general's defenses. He attacked from the air. Who dares that? So fast!" Seeing Luo Xia's strength lit a fire in the captain's eyes. He leaned close, voice hard. "I have a plan. Since we can't get near the Silver Moon Dire Wolf without drawing most of the monster's attention." He looked down at the Firehammer squad with cold intent. "We'll let them attract the monsters. While the beasts are focused on them, we move to the Dire Wolf." The others realized at once what he meant. Use the Firehammer squad as bait. They'd draw the monster's attention and let Tiger Fang slip through. It was a cruel plan. If it worked, the Firehammer squad wouldn't survive. But these men were selfish and pragmatic. Zhang Zehu was the first to nod. "Good, let's do it. We've done this before in the wilderness." The captain turned to the 2 men with firearms. "A Xiao, a Dong. Take out the key members of the Firehammer squad with your sniper rifles. Don't kill them, but wound them. And then open fire on those 2 monster groups nearby," he continued. "We're far off. Sudden shots will confuse the monsters. Ordinary beasts have low intelligence. Once they're hit, they'll attack the humans they can see." He smiled coldly. "With injured teammates, the Firehammer squad won't be able to flee. A large fight will draw monster numbers to their location and thin them out elsewhere. We'll have an easier path." The men nodded. Zhang Zehu even grinned. "Captain, brilliant." A Xiao and a Dong wasted no time. Years on the line had made them efficient killers. They found a good firing position, set up their sniper rifles, and loaded special armor-piercing rounds. They checked the scope, adjusted their parameters, and gave the captain a curt nod. His hand rose, signaling the moment. Below, the Firehammer squad was busy field dressing the tiger cat's carcass when two heavy reports cracked through the air. The rifles recoiled, and two rounds tore toward Gao Feng and the young man who had fought the tiger cat, Luo Xia. Luo Xia, bent over the corpse, suddenly felt every hair on his head stand up. A chill skittered across his scalp, a killing instinct slammed into him like an alarm. He whirled just in time to see a dark blur swelling in his vision, an armor-piercing round already almost upon his head. Even if it missed his brow, its kinetic energy would be enough to obliterate his skull. Who? Anger and disbelief flared in him. At the same instant, inside his sea of consciousness, something awakened. His mental energy, only partially awakened until now, ignited. Over the boundless mental ocean, a brilliant golden sphere burst into being like a small sun, pouring out dazzling light. Mental energy surged through Luo Xia's entire body, so intense that his pupils flashed a brilliant gold. When Luo Xia's eyes flashed a brilliant gold, the world slowed to a crawl. The armor-piercing bullet that had been hurtling toward them at lethal speed seemed to hang in the air. He could even see the eddies in the air as the round cut through it. Tiger. Luo Feng's voice blurred, his mouth moving in slow motion. Adrenaline pushed Luo Xia to a razor's edge. His not yet fully awakened mental energy teetered on the brink of a breakthrough. With a whoosh, the longsword he had been using to slice into the tiger cat monster left his hand. Wrapped in fierce mental power, the blade struck the incoming armor-piercing round. Sparks flew as steel met metal, the bullet's tip was dented, and it ricocheted away. At the same instant, Luo Xia saw another round closing on Captain Gao Feng's arm. If it hit, Gao Feng would lose the limb. A throwing knife strapped to Luo Xia's thigh flew out and struck the second round with a crisp ding, knocking it off course. Two rounds thudded into the ground. Harmless, the slow-motion sensation vanished. Luo Feng's voice snapped back to normal. Before any of them could fully process what had happened, the younger brother was already launching himself into the air. "Xiao Xia!" Luo Feng shouted as gunshots cracked. 4 more shots rang out. Luo Xia didn't pause to answer. He had seen where the shots had come from. The Tiger Fang squad. He had not expected that, in this life, Zhang Zehu's team, still harboring hostility despite Luo Feng's changed fate, would try to use monsters to kill them, just like in the original timeline. Rage flared in him, hot and immediate. He stepped on his longsword and flew toward the Tiger Fang squad. A Psyker Master's advantage over ordinary fighters is the ability to fly with mental power long before reaching the level of a war god. In a blink, Luo Xia vanished from sight. "Xiao Xia!" Luo Feng called, stunned. Gao Feng and the others were shocked to see a Psyker Master among them, but their surprise was cut short. More monsters were converging, drawn by the gunfire. The ground trembled as 1,000 beasts thundered toward the Firehammer squad. "Hurry! Split up and run!" Captain Gao Feng barked, assessing speed and survival chances. If they stayed together, they'd be trampled. Luo Feng hesitated, torn between chasing his brother and escaping. Then he made a decision. "Captain, follow me," he shouted, and the throwing knives strapped to his thigh rose and hovered around him as if obeying his command. Gao Feng and the rest stared in astonishment. Luo Feng, too, was a Psyker Master. The Tiger Fang squad had retreated after firing 6 rounds, but they couldn't outpace a Psyker Master. They hadn't gone far before a figure streaked down on a longsword and overtook them. The squad froze, startled to see Luo Xia descending. "That kid, he's a Psyker Master," one cursed. "We can't shake him." Their captain ground his teeth. "We can't outrun him. Brothers, fight to the death." They stopped and turned, faces grim. Luo Xia hovered above them, golden eyes cold and merciless. He made no grand speech. A throwing knife flashed from his hand. Without warning, it pierced Zhang Zehu's skull. The leader crumpled, blood spattering, his eyes wide with disbelief. "Are you worthy?" Luo Xia asked quietly, the blood-stained blade floating in front of him. The remaining 5 Tiger Fang members were veterans, and when death came so suddenly, they reacted with the reflexes of killers. "Shoot! Kill him!" they ordered and opened fire. 2 of them, Xiao and Dong, shouldered massive sniper rifles and sent armor-piercing rounds roaring at him. The distance was no more than 50 meters, too close for any normal person to dodge. But Luo Xia was far from normal. His golden eyes glowed. The slow-motion world returned. The knives that had been hovering around him shot out, their momentum dwarfing that of the rounds. With a hiss, they cleaved the two armor-piercing bullets in half. Then, seeing the other attackers move as if underwater, Luo Xia stopped wasting words. He extended a hand and said, cold as a blade, kill. 5 throwing knives erupted like comets. Screams tore through the air, pleas for mercy, then silence. In less than a second, all 5 living members of the Tiger Fang squad lay motionless. The killing was swift and total. For a Psyker master whose mental energy is not yet fully developed, the mental realm typically stands 2 tiers above physical quality. If someone's body ranks as an advanced warrior, their mental power might already reach intermediate war general. At this moment, Luo Xia's body had reached junior warrior general, so his mental power was the equivalent of an advanced war general, far above the Tiger Fang squad, whose strongest were only intermediate war generals. Luo Xia looked down at the fallen bodies with an unexpected blankness. It was his first time killing. The lack of emotion surprised him, though it might be tied to his current state. He used his mental power to gather the squad's backpacks and gear, then scanned for Luo Feng and the others. Mounting his longsword, he turned and flew back toward his brothers and Captain Gao Feng. Chapter 42, Fully Awakened. While Luo Xia searched the area for Luo Feng and the others, Luo Feng's team was running for their lives, chased by a horde of monsters. Fortunately, under Luo Feng's mental energy guidance, Gao Feng and the rest were able to slip away from the monsters and make it up to the roof of a residential building. Phew, we finally escaped, Zhang Ke said, collapsing to the ground and gasping for breath. In the original timeline, Zhang Ke's right shoulder and arm had been blown off by the Tiger Fang squad's armor-piercing rounds. This time, because of Luo Xia's unexpected intervention, nobody on the team was hurt. Thank goodness for Luo Feng, otherwise we'd have been eaten, Captain Gao Feng murmured, grateful. Everyone's eyes turned to Luo Feng. They had no idea that both Luo Feng and his brother Luo Xia were Psyker masters. Psyker masters were rarer than pandas among martial artists. Having 2 in one team was astonishing. Luo Feng barely noticed their stares. His thoughts were with Luo Xia. I hope Xia is okay, he said softly. Chenggu stepped forward and patted Luo Feng's shoulder. Don't worry, Luo Xia will be fine. Didn't you see him fly? Those monsters couldn't touch him. Wei Qing frowned. Who would try to hurt us like that? Luo Xia must have seen something and chased after them. It looked like the Tiger Fang squad, Gao Feng said. As a martial artist whose own physical quality had reached the intermediate war general level, his eyesight was sharper than the others. When the gunfire started, he thought he'd seen members of the Tiger Fang squad. Tiger Fang squad. The name cut through the group. Luo Feng's heart sank. Captain, why would they want to harm us? Have we offended them? Wei Tai half joked. Maybe they wanted our double-tailed tiger cat? Gao Feng shook his head and frowned. No, I think those gunshots were meant to draw monsters. They used us to bait the horde so they could do something without attracting too many monsters themselves. Scum, Zhang Ke swore. They actually used us as bait? I'll curse their ancestors. A voice called from above. Everyone looked up as Luo Xia flew toward them, standing on a long sword. He landed beside them, and scattered around him were the backpacks and weapons that belonged to the Tiger Fang squad. Xia, are you all right? Luo Feng rushed forward and gripped his brother's shoulders, scanning him anxiously. Luo Xia smiled weakly. I'm fine. Oh, a sudden wave of sleep crashed over him mid-sentence. All he vaguely heard before consciousness faded was Luo Feng's panicked voice shouting, Xia! Luo Xia collapsed into unconsciousness. Luo Feng froze, holding him, face pale with fear. Is Xia hurt? Gao Feng and the others checked him quickly. There were no wounds, no blood. Luo Xia looked healthy, his cheeks flush. Don't worry, he's not injured, Gao Feng said. Look, no injuries, his color's good. Only then did Luo Feng notice that Luo Xia's breathing was calm, not shallow like someone wounded. Then a different sensation hit him, a colossal surge of mental energy pouring out of Luo Xia's head. It felt like facing a tsunami. What is this? Luo Feng whispered. Unseen to everyone else, Luo Xia's sea of consciousness was boiling. Most people's mental energy circulated like mist. Even Luo Feng's was mostly misty within his sea of consciousness, with a dark golden sphere the only solid thing. Luo Xia's was different. Alongside some mist, The vast majority of his mental energy flowed like liquid, an ocean. Rising from it was a brilliant golden sphere, like a sun, 10 times the size of Luo Feng's sphere, radiating dazzling light. Rivers of pure mental energy surged out from the sea of consciousness and flowed into Luo Xia's body, reshaping him. Bone, organs, blood, muscle, skin, down to cells and genes, were changing under the flood of energy. His physical quality rose rapidly to the intermediate war general level and continued climbing. The transformation didn't stop. Luo Feng watched, stunned. Is this what Luo Xia's mental energy looks like before a full awakening? It's enormous. Luo Feng, what's wrong? Gao Feng asked, seeing the look on Luo Feng's face. Luo Feng hesitated, then said, Xia, he's awakening his mental energy. Gao Feng and the others were speechless. Chen Gu, incredulous, tilted his head. You mean Luo Xia is awakening his mental energy? Zhang Ke frowned. But he's already a psyker master. Why would he be awakening? Gao Feng rubbed his chin. I once read a record. It said there are a few people with naturally enormous mental energy who leak it before their true awakening. With that leaked energy, they can use power like already awakened psyker masters. When they finally fully awaken, they become even stronger than usual, sometimes beyond genius level. That's just a legend, he added. No one's ever seen it firsthand. He looked at the unconscious Luo Xia again with mounting awe. Maybe Luo Xia is that kind of psyker master. Hearing that, the team stared at Luo Xia with a mix of admiration and disbelief. Not only did they have two psyker masters in their ranks, one of them might even be that legendary kind who surpassed geniuses. Wei Qing, who had been checking the gear Luo Xia brought back, spoke up. These backpacks and weapons are from the Tiger Fang squad. Chen Gu examined the scattered belongings. Judging by this, they must have been wiped out by Luo Xia. The Tiger Fang squad had 4 war generals and 2 advanced warriors, Wei Ti said, awed. All of them killed by Luo Xia? The idea that a single person had beaten an entire veteran squad shocked them. Zhang Ke frowned with satisfaction. Good riddance, let them try to harm us. Gao Feng rummaged through the packs. Most of the outdoor gear and medicines were ordinary supplies, nothing special for martial artists, but if sold could fetch over 100,000. The weapons, however, were the problem. These weapons are recorded and tied to the owner's identities, Gao Feng said. If we try to sell them through normal channels, it'll trace back to the Tiger Fang squad and reveal what happened. That could get Luo Xia in serious trouble. We'll ask him what to do once he wakes. Even if they were morally justified, killing recognized martial artists would bring complications. For now, they could only wait for Luo Xia to regain consciousness and explain. Chapter 43, Intermediate God of War. Luo Feng and the others waited anxiously for Luo Xia to wake. 2 days passed. Luo Xia lay unconscious for a full day and night. It wasn't until the morning of the 3rd day that his eyes finally opened. Am I fully awakened? My mental energy? He murmured. When Luo Xia looked around, his whole body felt light, and his mind was astonishingly clear. The world seemed sharper, sounds carried farther, sights revealed finer detail. It was as if every edge and color had been turned up. Everything came into perfect focus. Xia, you're awake. Luo Feng's voice, full of relief and excitement, came from beside him. Luo Xia turned his head to see his older brother hurrying over with a ration bar in one hand, scanning him from head to toe. Before Luo Xia could answer, Luo Feng asked anxiously, How are you? Do you feel any pain anywhere? Awakening mental energy was dangerous. A misstep could mean death, or worse, becoming a vegetable. The fact that Luo Xia could move and speak meant that worst case had been avoided. Big brother, I'm fine, Luo Xia said with a faint smile that warmed Luo Feng like spring sunshine. In fact, I feel great, better than ever. Relief flooded Luo Feng's face. Around them, the rest of the Firehammer squad had gathered, and they cheered to see Luo Xia conscious again. Captain Gao Feng smiled and said, Luo Xia, thanks for earlier. If you hadn't acted, my arm would probably have been shattered by the Tiger Fang squad's attack. When the armor-piercing round had come for him, Gao Feng was aware of it, but couldn't react in time. Luo Xia had deflected the shot and saved him. Chen Gu, standing nearby, asked, Luo Xia, how do you feel? Your brother said you were awakening your mental energy while you were unconscious. Is it fully awakened now? Luo Xia closed his eyes and reached inward. In an instant, his consciousness slipped into his sea of consciousness. There, above an endless ocean of mental energy, mist drifted and a brilliant golden orb hung in the air, quietly radiating energy waves. "It's awakened," he said, opening his eyes and nodding. He had originally expected his mental energy to awaken only after his physical qualities rose to the intermediate warrior general level. He hadn't counted on the provocation by the Tiger Fang squad triggering an early awakening. People say the first awakening can greatly increase a person's physical power, John Kay said curiously. You used to be an advanced warrior. Well, based on how you broke through that double-tailed tiger cat's defense, you were already close to a junior warrior general. What level are you at now? Luo Xia casually clenched his fist and struck the air. The impact blasted the atmosphere into a rippling wave. A white surge of qi shot forward and flew over 100 meters without fading. Everyone stared. Gao Feng's eyes widened. This is the power of an advanced warrior general? For someone like him, who had reached the intermediate warrior general realm, it was difficult to produce that effect casually. Luo Xia had done it as if it were nothing. Chen Gu and the others were stunned. Wei Te could hardly believe it. "Captain, are you sure?" Gao Feng forced a smile, shook his head, then took a deep breath and delivered his strongest punch. A roar cracked through the air. A burst of qi shot out and flew almost 100 meters before dissipating. "That's my all-out," he said. Then he looked at Luo Xia. "I can't verify every measurement, but as far as strength goes, Luo Xia has absolutely reached the level of an advanced warrior general." A low chorus of astonished breaths followed. Luo Xia had jumped from being near junior warrior general to advanced warrior general at once. An extraordinary leap. Wei Qing, eyes wide, blurted, "If the rule holds that a psychic master's power is 2 levels above their physical qualities, doesn't that mean Luo Xia's psychic strength is already that of an intermediate god of war?" The words barely left her mouth before everyone reacted. The god of war realm was a dream many martial artists strove for. It was a rare, revered height. Even the most gifted prodigies usually had only a slim chance. And yet, if Wei Qing's calculation was right, Luo Xia, only 16 years old, was already at the intermediate god of war level as a psychic master. No one had become an advanced warrior general at 16 in living memory, much less reached god of war. Luo Xia's age and level were nearly unprecedented. "Ha ha! So our Firehammer squad has 2 psychic masters, and one of them is already an intermediate god of war?" Zhang Ke laughed, bursting into delighted, almost incredulous chuckles. The others joined in. The mood lightened as the impossible reality sank in. Chen Gu's laughter faded, and he looked at Luo Feng and Luo Xia, puzzled. "Why have you two been hiding that you're psychic masters?" Luo Feng and Luo Xia exchanged a glance. They had discussed this before. After learning more about psychic masters, both brothers had chosen to conceal their identities. Psychics were prized. Governments, military units, martial dojos, even influential families competed fiercely for them. If the brothers revealed themselves, the dojo of limits would likely snatch them away and send them to global headquarters for specialized training. True, the resources there would be great, but it would also mean being separated from their family for a long time, something neither brother was willing to accept while their family remained their priority. Besides, until now, Luo Xia's mental energy hadn't fully awakened, so they had agreed to keep quiet. Xia's mental energy wasn't fully awake before, Luo Feng explained. If we'd announced we were psychic masters then, we wouldn't have been able to live in peace. Gao Feng nodded with a rueful chuckle. Psychic masters are in such demand. The government, martial dojos, even families will come crawling. If word got out that both of you were psychics, your family's home would be surrounded in a day. He grew more serious. Still, I think you two should consider telling the dojo and asking to be sent to global headquarters. You both have exceptional talent and aptitude. If you can receive training there, you may well surpass the god of war realm. Luo Feng tilted his head in surprise. Captain, is there something beyond the god of war realm? Gao Feng smiled. Of course, you don't think Hong and Thunder God, the world's strongest and second strongest, are stuck at god of war, do you? He shook his head with admiration. Their strength long ago surpassed the god of war realm. There are even higher levels. Luo Feng and Luo Xia exchanged another look, both intrigued and thoughtful. "Thank you, Captain," Luo Feng said. "We'll consider it." Gao Feng grinned. "I'm only making a suggestion, but honestly, if you two stay with the Fire Hammer Squad, we'd be set for life." He laughed at his own exaggeration. A psychic master was a tremendous asset to any squad. Two of them, and one at intermediate God of War level, would change everything. The Firehammer Squad's future suddenly looked much brighter as laughter and excited conversation filled the camp. Chapter 44, Silver Moon Wolf. The Firehammer Squad buzzed with excitement. Everyone was thrilled. Both Luo Feng and Luo Xia were Psyker Masters, a rare and valuable asset for any hunting team. A sudden howl cut through the air. Heads turned. Gao Feng led the squad toward the sound, voice low and tense. "That's a wolf." Chen Gu fumbled for his binoculars, staring in bewilderment. "A wolf-type monster? Here? In this county town?" Wolves had been fierce even before the Great Nirvana. After it, they evolved into far more dangerous beasts. A wolf-type monster meant trouble for any martial artist. Luo Xia didn't need binoculars. He picked out the creature 2 li away with the clarity of someone who'd trained his eyes to the limit. He pointed. "There, that's a silver moon dire wolf, a hunter among monsters." The others caught sight and drew a sharp breath. Zhang Ke and the others echoed in disbelief. A silver moon dire wolf? The beast was enormous, at least 3 meters tall and 5 to 6 meters long. Gray fur covered its body, and a distinct tuft of white fur crowned its head, the unmistakable mark of a silver moon direwolf. Chen Gu's voice dropped with awe. "This is the royal line of wolf-type monsters. Judging by its size and coat, it's advanced beast general level." Silver moon direwolves were feared for their cunning and ferocity. Their fur had extraordinary uses, and their skulls were prized for their hardness, making them extremely valuable. Wei Tai squinted at the distant animal. "It looks hurt. There's a bloody wound on its belly." The men turned toward Captain Gao Feng. "Captain, this is a royal beast, an advanced beast general. It's worth far more than 10 ordinary beast general tiger mastiff kills." Chen Gu's eyes gleamed. "If we take it down, the profit will be huge. Decide quickly, Captain." Wei Tai raised his own binoculars and watched the wolf. "It's moving fast. It'll disappear from sight soon. We can't waste time." Luo Xia stepped forward. "Let me go. With my current strength, I can take it." Everyone looked at him. Gao Feng nodded. "Yes, Luo Xia, you can handle it. If we go with you, we might attract other monsters." Although the Silver Moon direwolf was stronger than ordinary beast general creatures, it wouldn't stand a chance against an intermediate war god-level Psyker Master. With Luo Xia's strength, it was dangerous, but not insurmountable. Luo Feng stepped up beside his brother. "I'll go with you." Gao Feng smiled. "Good. The two of you can watch each other's backs." Luo Xia grinned and set his longsword humming into the air. With a practiced leap, he balanced on the blade. It was thin, but his balance was flawless. Luo Feng mounted his shield and let it carry him, skimming the rooftops. The two brothers surged toward the street where the wolf had been sighted. Wei Tai watched them go, voice tinged with envy. With psychic power, their speed and agility are something else. Luo Feng and Luo Xia streaked forward like lightning. Monsters on the ground looked up, roaring and snapping at the air. Some leapt, trying to reach the brothers, but with a slight rise in altitude, Luo Feng and Luo Xia were beyond their reach. The Silver Moon direwolf anticipated them. It vaulted onto the roof of a residence, reared back, and howled. Instantly, its gray fur flashed silvery white, and the white tuft on its head stained blood-red, crown-like. A silvery body with a blood-red crest, unmistakably a Silver Moon direwolf. The brothers touched down on a neighboring roof and fixed their gaze on the beast. Luo Xia glanced at his brother. "You go first?" Luo Feng's eyes burned with battle intent. "I'll take the lead. Good chance to test my current strength." Luo Xia nodded and took a step back. "Be careful." Before they could exchange anything more, the wolf launched. Its heavy stomp cracked the rooftop beneath it as it blurred into a silvery streak and lunged at Luo Feng. The wolf had circled its target. It judged Luo Feng the weaker of the two and meant to take him out first. Luo Feng read its speed at once. He moved to dodge, but it was razor close. At the last instant, he channeled his mental power into his battlesuit, triggering a rapid displacement along his pant leg, a near teleport that saved him by inches. The wolf's claws slammed into the roof and exploded wood and tile into dust. Luo Feng didn't hesitate. Hidden throwing knives mounted on his pants surged free as he released them with a flick, 6 blades streaking out like a net. The knives flew faster than the eye could follow. The wolf tried to twist away, but even after dodging 4, it was struck by 2, raking scratches along a front leg and a wound across its flank. The wolf howled in pain, mouth gaping. Luo Feng's eyes sharpened. He sent another knife, a precise missile-like throw, straight into the beast's open maw. It buried through the throat and into the body. The knife spun inside, tearing at organs. The silver moon dire wolf convulsed, spraying froth and blood from its mouth. For a moment its eyes were furious and unwilling, then its body went limp. It collapsed from the roof. A cold corpse sprawled on the tiles. Chapter 45. Return to the supply base. Brother, that was amazing. Luo Xia gave Luo Feng a thumbs up when he saw him finish off the silver moon dire wolf. Luo Feng, breathless, smiled faintly. It was luck. That wolf was already badly wounded. If it hadn't been injured, I wouldn't have taken it down so easily. Let's dissect it and leave, Luo Xia said, stepping forward to cut away the pelt and remove the skull. The commotion must have attracted other monsters already. Luo Feng nodded and moved to help. And this one's worth a lot. If another martial artist squad shows up, they might try to steal it from us. Both brothers worked quickly. Their flying swords were 7-star rank, rare weapons capable of piercing even lord-level defenses. Under their hands, Luo Xia peeled back the pelt and froze when he noticed a small, marked patch of fur. He remembered a detail from the original story and, after a moment's hesitation, cut that section away and tossed it into his pack. Luo Feng pried the wolf's skull free with great effort. If our blades had been only 5 or 6-star, we might not have gotten through its hide, Luo Feng murmured. The silver moon dire wolf's defenses had been terrifying. Thick fur, dense flesh. Almost every part of the beast was valuable. They removed claws, fangs, eyeballs, and other useful organs and packed them carefully. Before long, they had finished. Roars and howls rose from below, other predators drawn by the blood scent. Without lingering, they mounted their flying swords and shields and shot up to the rooftop where the Firehammer squad had been resting. Luo Feng and Luo Xia are back, someone called. Neither of them's hurt, another voice added. That can't be. Luo Xia's a god of war level psyker now. He wouldn't get injured tackling an already wounded dire wolf, someone joked. Gao Feng and the others gathered as Luo Feng and Luo Xia landed. Captain, we hunted the silver moon dire wolf, the brothers said, grinning as they opened their packs. All its materials are here. Good, good, good. Gao Feng's smile split his face. A silver moon dire wolf was a fortune, worth more than half a year's earnings for the squad. Chenggu leaned forward. You two went together? Luo Xia shook his head. No, Big Brother wanted to test himself. He handled it alone while I supported. Luo Feng shrugged. I was lucky. That wolf was fast, almost supersonic, and its attack and defense were insane. If our flying swords hadn't been 7-star, we wouldn't have broken through. What? Supersonic speed? Chenggu gaped. Wei Tai muttered, That's abnormal. You're saying it could have matched an elementary lord-level pig monster? Gao Feng's face darkened suddenly. The others froze. Wait, something's not right, he said. The wolf was already badly wounded. That would have to be the work of a martial artist, powerful enough to severely injure a creature like that. Whoever did it could be god of war level. We don't want to attract their attention. Luo Xia raised both hands. Captain, don't worry. Big Brother and I studied a lot of common knowledge before coming into the wilderness. He reached into his pack and pulled out the wolf's pelt, pointing to the missing piece. The patch with the signal has already been cut off. He kept his next thought to himself for a heartbeat. He remembered the original plot. The team that would have left a signal like that was the Tiger Fang squad, the same squad they'd killed 3 days ago. Unless the Tiger Fang squad somehow returned from hell, the signal's owner wouldn't be coming after them. Gao Feng and the rest exhaled in relief. They'd feared the damage had been done by an active martial artist band and that the squad might be traced. Instead, it had been neutralized. Luck favored them for now. What do we do next? Chenggu asked. Stay in this county town or head back to the supply base? Gao Feng thought for a moment, then said, Let's return to the supply base. Our haul this trip has already exceeded expectations. Nobody argued. They'd set out mainly to escort and test new recruits, not to make a fortune. Instead, the newcomers had helped them survive a monster swarm and had yielded a silver moon direwolf, enough for huge profits for everyone. Luo Feng and Luo Xia agreed as well. They packed up and set off north toward the Jiangnan-based city's military supply base. Monsters cropped up on the way, but with Luo Feng and Luo Xia on point, they fell quickly. Under the brothers' concentrated mental power, beast soldier-level monsters were pierced by flying swords the instant they showed themselves. Captain Gao Feng watched them work as if they were invincible, each clash sharpening the two brothers' control. 3 days later, they arrived at the base. "Old Gao, you lot look like you did well," smiling so happily, the gatekeeper teased when he saw them. He handed Gao Feng a key and grinned. "Area A9. Don't go to the wrong house." Gao Feng accepted it with a laugh. "Don't worry, we know where to go." The gatekeeper clicked his tongue, "Just in case you're so pleased you forget." Gao Feng shoved him playfully and led the squad to Area A9. Inside the villa, Firehammer members were sprawled on sofas or lounging, looking relaxed. Gao Feng clapped his hands for attention. "Let's process the monster materials we brought back," he said. "We didn't stay out long, but we bagged some beast general-level monsters." He listed off their gains: a bloodthirsty tank, a double-tailed tiger cat, a tiger mastiff, and a silver moon dire wolf. The tiger mastiff had jumped them on the return trip and been overwhelmed by the combination of Luo Xia, Luo Feng, and Gao Feng, an intermediate war general, so it had been subdued without trouble. Gao Feng's tone sharpened. "The other monsters' materials are fine to handle here, but the silver moon dire wolf is different. It was clearly being tracked by someone. If we display or sell its parts here, we might attract that martial artist squad." Chen Gu agreed. "We should sell the wolf's materials back in base city. The rest can be sold here." Jiang Ke added, "And the stuff Luo Xia brought from the Tiger Fang squad can't be sold here either. People will notice." Wei Ti chimed in, "Those items are best sold on the black market." Luo Xia looked embarrassed. "I don't know anyone on the black market. I don't even know where to find it." Gao Feng considered the boy for a moment and then said, "Luo Xia, if you trust me, I'll handle those items for you." Wei Qing smiled and nodded at Luo Xia. "Leaving it to the captain is the right choice. He has contacts we don't, and he can move delicate goods without drawing attention." "Then I'll leave them to you, Captain," Luo Xia said gratefully. Gao Feng gave a modest shake of his head. "It's nothing. All right, eat and rest for now. We'll arrange to sell the materials later." Chapter 46. Share the Money. After the meal, the 7 members of the Firehammer squad found the HR Alliance's local representative and sold off all the monster materials they had taken, everything except the Silver Moon dire wolf. Back in Villa A9, the team gathered around a computer to divide up the proceeds. Luo Feng collected quite a few beast soldier-level monsters. From G grade to F grade, Gao Feng began, reading aloud their sales receipts. On average, each of those materials sold for a little over 6,000. Luo Feng earned just over 120,000 from those alone. Luo Xia's haul is similar, about the same, a little over 120,000, someone added. Wei Tie brought in 12 types of ordinary beast soldier materials, all F grade, Gao Feng continued. With an average price of around 8,000 each, that's roughly 100,000 in total. And so on for Wei Qing. The ordinary materials were quickly divided under Gao Feng's directions. "All right," Gao Feng said, switching to the next pile. "Now for the beast general level monsters. The bloodthirsty tank sold for 16 million. Chen Gu's critical hit did the most damage, so he gets 50%. The other 5 each get 10. I'll pass on a share. I only did the dissection." He tallied it up, so Chen Gu gets 8 million. The rest of you get 1.6 million apiece from that one. Next, the Tiger Mastiff, 10 million. Gao Feng glanced around. "We ran into that one on the way back, and everyone pitched in. Luo Feng, Luo Xia, and I each take 20%. The remaining 40% will be divided among the rest of you, 10% each. Any objections?" No one did. Finally, the double-tailed tiger cat sold for 12 million. Gao Feng looked at the 2 brothers. Luo Xia and I were the main attackers originally, so normally Luo Xia and I would each take 40% of this one. But things changed. He paused and then explained. During the hunt, the Tiger Fang squad led a beast horde toward us. Luo Feng and Luo Xia saved us. Because of that, Luo Xia and Luo Feng should split 60% between them. I'll take 10%, and the remaining 30% will be equally divided among Chen Gu, Zhang Ke, and the Wei brothers. Any objections? Again, everyone agreed. Once the three beast general level monsters were settled, the numbers were clear. Not counting the beast soldier materials, each of the Luo brothers had earned 7.2 million from those three sales, 14.4 million between the two of them, and that didn't include whatever the Silver Moon Dire Wolf would fetch. This Silver Moon Dire Wolf is high rank. It'll bring in a huge sum when we sell it back at Base City, Gao Feng said with a smile. The others laughed along. But, he went on, glancing at Luo Feng and Luo Xia, you two did the tracking, the killing, the dissection, and you brought it back. That was entirely your effort. So you two will get 80% of the sale. The remaining 20% will be split among the five of us. It was a standard rule for martial squads. Even if one or two people did most of the work, everyone received a share. Chen Gu couldn't help but exclaim, Luo Feng, Luo Xia, you two will probably have made more in one operation than I have in 10 years. You'll definitely have to treat us tonight. Yeah, treat us. Let us fleece you rich guys, the Wei brothers teased. Luo Feng and Luo Xia weren't stingy. Luo Feng smiled at the group. We'll treat at the HR Alliance Mall. That afternoon, they boarded the train back to Jiangnan Base City. The carriage announcement echoed through the car. The train will be arriving soon. Passengers exiting the station, please prepare your belongings. When the doors opened, the squad stepped out into a crowd flooding the platform. The scene of a bustling city hit them all with a wave of relief. Brothers, thank your weapons. We've come back to the human world alive, Gao Feng said, voice thick with feeling. We're back, the others answered. For Luo Feng and Luo Xia, it was their first return to human society after time in the wilderness area. The contrast was staggering. Base City represented safe living and civilization itself. Both brothers looked at each other, feeling that weight that they were back among people and their everyday world. Xiao Xia, call home first, Luo Feng urged his younger brother. Luo Xia took out his comm watch and dialed. His mother's voice, cautious and relieved, came through immediately. Is that Xiao Xia? Mom, it's me, Luo Xia said, smiling. Big brother's right here. Luo Feng shouted into the phone in the background. Mom, Luo Xia and I are back in Base City. We'll be home tonight. You're back? His mother, Gong Xinlan, brightened. That's great. Are you coming home tonight? I'll go buy groceries. No need, Luo Xia said. By the time my brother and I get home, it'll be late. You and Dad don't need to wait up. All right, your dad's out for a walk and Ahua is in his room doing God knows what. Want me to get him on the phone? No, we'll be home tonight, Luo Feng called. Luo Xia, the special car is here. Let's go. Gao Feng called from the edge of the platform. Luo Xia hurriedly told his mother, We'll hang up for now. We'll talk more tonight. Okay, you go on, she replied. They stepped into the HR Alliance special car and headed for the mall. On the drive, Chen Gu nudged Luo Feng and grinned. Hey Luo Feng, that girl we mentioned last time might be at the mall. You just got back from the wilderness area. Why don't you go see her? Try to make a good impression. Zhang Ke whispered, We thought her name was Xu Xin. Sounds like she might be from the Xu family, one of the 12 great families. The driver, overhearing them, chuckled. You mean young Miss Xu Xin? Of course I know her. We drive to the mall every day and hear the town gossip. He tapped the wheel and added with a grin, Don't be fooled if she's not a knockout. Marrying someone like her would save a man from decades of struggling. Gao Feng's expression shifted. The Xu family joined the HR Alliance? Yeah, the driver replied, and I hear her status in the Xu family is pretty high. Luo Feng listened, but didn't let the remark rattle him. China had always valued matching social status, but he wasn't short on confidence. With his abilities, he believed he'd someday rise far above those old family names. He would make himself worthy of Xu Xin. Besides, he had an ace. His younger brother was a god of war-level practitioner. The Luo family might not have the same wealth as the Xu family, but with a god of war in their ranks, their standing could easily hold its own. Luo Feng glanced at Luo Xia and couldn't help smiling. His brother was truly strong, and as the elder brother, Luo Feng felt the pressure not to be left behind. He would have to work harder, push further, and make sure he caught up. Chapter 47, Sell Materials, 800 million. While the special car was on the move, Captain Gao Feng dialed a number he knew well, the manager of the HR Alliance. "Hello, old Feng. It's me. Of course I have something worth your time. This is good stuff. Easily over 100 million. Okay, I'll see you soon." After a brief chat, he hung up, smiling at the rest of the team. "I already spoke to old Feng. When we get to the mall, we'll go straight upstairs." Luo Xia and the others nodded. That's the advantage of connections. Many of the usual hassles can be skipped with a single call. They arrived shortly. Stepping out of the car, they entered the HR Alliance Mall lobby. A sharp, capable-looking woman with short hair approached them as they stepped in. "Mr. Gao Feng, Manager Feng is already waiting upstairs," she said with a welcoming smile. Gao Feng returned the smile and gestured for Luo Xia and the others to follow. As they crossed the lobby, Luo Xia glanced toward the bar but didn't see Xu Xin. "Looks like university just started these past few days," she murmured, and Luo Feng's disappointed expression eased. The woman led them up to the 21st floor in the elevator. When the doors opened, they stepped into an enormous lounge, at least 300 to 400 square meters. Long sofas lined the walls, and a few people sat on them, waiting to meet with Manager Feng. With Gao Feng's introduction, there was no need to wait. Under several annoyed stares, they were escorted into Manager Feng's office. The office was tastefully luxurious. "Old Feng," Gao Feng called. "Gao Feng!" The bald, round-faced man behind the desk rose and laughed as he came forward. "Looks like you had a good run. Come sit." They took a place on the sofa. As a secretary poured tea, Manager Feng grinned and asked Gao Feng, "So, what did you bring this time? You were mysterious on the phone. Show me." Gao Feng's smile widened. "Old Feng, I'll let you take a look. You've handled plenty of martial artist teams, but I think this is something you don't see often." He gave Luo Feng a nod. Luo Feng took his backpack, smiled at Manager Feng, and opened it. He pulled out the most valuable piece first, the Silver Moon Dire Wolf pelt. Laid flat on the coffee table, it looked like the silhouette of the beast itself, and even through the fur one could sense the creature's ferocity. "Silver Moon Dire Wolf." Manager Feng stood, astonished. "Good heavens, that's a huge one. Must be an advanced beast general, right? With that speed, even a newly minted God of War level fighter would have trouble catching it." Gao Feng stood with him and steered Manager Feng closer to examine the pelt. "Old Feng, look, this pelt is almost intact." Manager Feng ran his hands over the fur. The hide had been carefully removed along the wounds. The cuts were neat, and the pelt was unusually complete. Silver Moon Dire Wolf pelts were extremely valuable, whether used for garments or specialized combat gear. Manager Feng's eyes gleamed. "Wait here." He hurried to a shelf behind the desk and came back with a briefcase. Opening it, he produced several instruments unfamiliar to Luo Xia and the others, then set to work scanning the materials Gao Feng had brought. Luo Feng then began removing the rest of the trophies from his backpack: eyeballs, razor claws, fangs, a skull. Manager Feng's expression brightened as he watched them laid out on the table. After a moment with the instruments, Manager Feng relaxed into a pleased smile. "These are definitely all from the same Silver Moon Direwolf," he announced. "This specimen's strength is Advanced Beast General." Gao Feng glanced at the instrument readout and nodded. Advanced Beast General, maybe even bordering on Lord level. Manager Feng shook his head in admiration. "Indeed. All right, what's your price?" Gao Feng looked to Luo Feng. Since he'd arranged the meeting, it was only right for the team's new members to discuss the terms. Luo Feng returned the look and asked Manager Feng, "What would you consider a fair price?" Before coming, they had checked typical HR Alliance rates. An Advanced Beast General's body parts usually fetched between 50 million and 500 million yuan, and the rarer Silver Moon Dire Wolf could go for even more. Manager Feng glanced at Gao Feng and, seeing him smile encouragingly, treated Luo Feng's words as representative of the group. He considered for a moment and said, "They're excellent materials. How about 600 million yuan?" The offer was generous, high for someone in Manager Feng's position. In some cases, Whole bodies of low-level Lord-class monsters only reached that figure. Gao Feng, playing the hard seller, scoffed. Old Fang, that's too low. In South America, an intermediate beast General Silver Moon Dire Wolf goes for 750 million. For one like this, 900 million or even a billion shouldn't be out of the question. Manager Fang frowned. Gao Feng, don't joke with me. 900 million to a billion is for high-level Lord-class monsters. Luo Feng kept his smile. They had discussed their strategy before coming. If they could get between 700 and 800 million, it would be excellent. Gao Feng's bold talk was intended to shock Manager Fang into a better counteroffer. He leaned forward and said, Old Fang, I didn't come to anyone else. I came to you because of our friendship. I'll set the price, 800 million yuan. If you can't do it, we'll go elsewhere. Manager Fang's eyelids twitched at the figure. He opened his mouth, closed it, then muttered, Seems like Fang can't afford that. Fine, let's go. He forced a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Gao Feng took that as the cue. If you won't speak up, put everything back, he said to Luo Feng and Luo Xia. They began to gather the pelt, fangs, and other materials while Gao Feng walked toward the door. Manager Fang gritted his teeth. 500 million is my limit, he blurted, addressing them before Gao Feng reached the doorway. Gao Feng didn't react. He gestured for the others to continue and calmly kept moving. The team was already at the threshold when a voice from the lounge called out urgently, Gao Feng, 500 million is acceptable. It was one of the people who had been waiting. Gao Feng kept walking without turning, and Manager Fang felt his temper rise. Taking a breath to steady himself, he finally shouted after them, Wait, come back, the price you asked for. At the doorway, Luo Xia and the rest exchanged glances and smiled. Manager Fang's transfer went through without a hitch. 800 million credits hit the Firehammer Squad's account, and Captain Gao Feng handled the distribution exactly as they'd agreed. The Luo brothers took the lion's share, 400 million between them, and the rest was split out so that Captain Gao Feng and each of the squad members received 32 million. They celebrated the payday with a meal at the HR Alliance. Since nobody in the squad had been injured this time, unlike what happened in the original story, the mood was relaxed and loud. Even though Luo Xia was still underage, he shared a few beers with Captain Gao Feng and the others. Once everyone had loosened up and the laughter was flowing, Gao Feng, a little flushed from the drink, called the brothers over. Something wrong, Captain? Luo Feng asked, exchanging a look with his brother. Gao Feng set his cup down and smiled, a little embarrassed. What I'm going to say might sound like I'm trying to shove you two out of the squad, he began, but that's not my intention. Luo Feng frowned. Captain. Luo Feng, Luo Xia, listen. Gao Feng's voice grew steady. When Wu Tong first asked me to take you, I was reluctant. New recruits are always trouble. In the wilderness area, they can put the whole squad at risk. I'm not just responsible for you. There's Chen Gu, Zhang Ke, the Wei brothers. The first thing I hope for on every mission is to bring everyone back the same way we went in. He took a swallow and sighed. Being a martial artist is dangerous by nature. Nobody knows when something terrible will happen. He looked at them quietly. So at first I didn't want to take you. I told myself, no matter how much talent you have, if you can't fit into the squad or if you put my teammates in danger, I'll kick you out. Luo Xia lowered his eyes. In the original story, it had been because of Luo Feng that Gao Feng and the others got hurt. Zhang Ke had lost his shoulder and right arm when ambushed by the Tiger Fang squad. The thought was understandable. But then, Gao Feng continued, you two surprised us. You learned fast. You took what we taught and made it your own. You even saved us in later fights. He smiled, genuine pride in his voice. Chen Gu, flushed from the meal and drink, nodded. If it weren't for Luo Xia and Luo Feng during that beast horde, when the Tiger Fang squad hit us, we probably wouldn't have made it. Gao Feng's expression softened. Your progress has been ridiculous. Wu Tong told me you only had the physical quality of an advanced warrior when you arrived. Now Luo Xia has the physique of an advanced warrior and the psychic strength of an intermediate war god. And Luo Feng isn't far behind, he added. Your physical quality, Luo Feng, was already close to a junior warrior general when you joined, and it's kept improving in the wilderness. You're finally reached that level. Including your psychic power, you're at advanced warrior. Luo Feng nodded. It was true. Battle experience had pushed him up. Gao Feng let out a wry laugh. You two are moving so fast, and your Psyker Master's on top of that. You still have a period of rapid improvement ahead of you. We old hands can't keep up. He hesitated, then reached out and patted both brothers on the shoulder. We've taught you everything we can. Honestly, you don't need us to survive out there anymore. Luo Feng's face brightened and then tightened with uncertainty. Captain, are you trying to make us leave? Gao Feng shook his head, smiling ruefully. Not at all. I'm not driving you away. It's just, if you stay, the rest of us will only hold you back. The Wei brothers, who had been quiet, spoke up. The captain's right, Wei Qing said. For my brother and me, our ceiling is probably a junior warrior general. If you stay with us, you'll slow yourselves down. We won't be anyone's burden. Martial artists took pride in that kind of honesty. Luo Xia protested, but Zhang Ke cut in gently, his own expression serious. Luo Feng, Luo Xia, Zhang Ke said, we'd love for you to stay. Who wouldn't want two Psyker Masters on their team? But your stage isn't the Firehammer squad. It's a much broader world. Staying here would only delay you. Luo Xia and Luo Feng exchanged a look and sighed. They knew the squad was being selfless. Each of them wanted what was best for the brothers, not to be left behind as a crutch. They didn't linger after the meal. Before they left, Gao Feng clapped them both on the shoulders. We've only been teammates a short while, but it was fate. If you ever need anything, you know where to find me. Chen Gu, Zhang Ke, any of us. We know, Captain, Luo Feng said. Thank you for everything these past few days. If you ever need help, come to me and Luo Xia. We won't refuse. Gao Feng laughed. All right, if fate allows it, we'll meet again. As Zhang Ke said, your stage is bigger than ours. Outside, as the two brothers walked away, Chen Gu stood with Gao Feng and watched them go. I can't shake the feeling we'll see them on television someday, he murmured. Gao Feng let out a quiet chuckle. It's only a matter of time. With their aptitude, unless something goes wrong, they'll reach the top, maybe even become figures like Hong or Thunder God. Could Luo Xia surpass them? Chen Gu asked. Gao Feng hesitated, then smiled. With Luo Xia's aptitude, reaching intermediate war god at 16, yeah, it's possible. A shadow passed over Gao Feng's face. Do I regret it? How could I not? They're two Psyker Masters. Luo Xia's already an intermediate war god, but they improved too quickly. We couldn't keep up. Couldn't keep up, Chen Gu repeated softly. They both watched the brothers' silhouettes disappear into the night. Chen Gu drew a long breath of the cold air and sighed. Sometimes the distance between people felt like an unbridgeable chasm. They would have loved to keep the brothers in the squad, but holding them back would have been cruelty. Letting them go now, together with blessings, was the only humane choice. When they got home, the house was still awake. Luo Hongguo, Gong Xinlan, and Luo Hua were in the living room, watching a TV drama and waiting for Luo Xia and Luo Feng. The sound of the front door made all three look up at once. Dad, Mom, Brother Luo, we're home, Luo Feng called as they came in. Luo Hongguo and the others smiled. Gong Xinlan came forward. Are you hungry? I haven't put the food in the fridge yet, but you can heat it up if you want. She had already boiled water. There's hot water ready. Go take a bath if you want. Luo Xia felt warmth at his mother's voice. He shook his head with a smile. Not hungry. We'll take a bath first. Even though they had washed at the supply base, both brothers wanted to wash the dust of the wilderness area off properly. After their showers, they changed and sat with the family for a short while. It was late, so the visit didn't last long. After a brief chat, everyone went to bed. Over the next several days, Luo Xia and Luo Feng stayed home. Both brothers had gained new insights in the wilderness area, and they used the time to consolidate what they'd learned. Luo Xia, whose physical fitness had finally reached the advanced warrior level, decided it was time to practice a new gene energy method he'd been working on. This new method was really an upgraded, more powerful take on the 5 hearts towards the sky technique. Its defining advantage was that it let a cultivator continuously draw in universe energy from the environment, like AFK auto-leveling in a game. Luo Xia had put the idea together from the 5 hearts method and a number of ancient cultivation texts. Because it demanded such a robust body to handle the influx, He'd only just been able to try it now. He began to practice. Unlike the original Five Hearts method, this version required no specific pose. Every meridian and acupoint across the body could absorb universe energy. He breathed in. Each inhale felt like the center of a storm. Universe energy from the air surged toward his Zhoutian acupoints and fused through his body. The sight was spectacular, even more intense than when Luo Feng had seen him cultivate before. To Luo Feng, Luo Xia seemed like a black hole, ravenously drawing in the surrounding energy. The inflow was so powerful it made the villa tremble. What's going on? Is it an earthquake? Luo Hua knocked on the door, half panicked. Luo Feng opened it. He's cultivating, he said. Luo Hua stepped inside and gaped. He didn't know much about martial arts, but even he could tell that this wasn't normal. There was a visible storm of energy piling into Luo Xia's body. After a long minute, the storm of energy eased. Luo Xia opened his eyes slowly. They had a calm, starry look to them, like tiny galaxies turning in their depths. Are you okay? Luo Feng and Luo Hua asked together. Luo Xia blinked. He'd been completely immersed during cultivation, feeling a tranquil, womb-like calm. He didn't fully register his brother's alarm until afterward. Luo Hua described what he'd seen in vivid, astonished detail, the swirling energy, the house trembling. Luo Xia smiled and explained. I upgraded the 5 hearts towards the sky method. The original lets the souls, the palms, and the huiyin acupoint on the head absorb universe energy, he said. But the efficiency was always low. I wondered, could the whole body absorb energy, not just those points? He went on. I read a lot of ancient Chinese medical texts. They say the human body has hundreds of acupoints, distributed all over. So I optimized the method so every acupoint can draw in universe energy. He paused. Actually, I got the basic idea when I was 3, but it wasn't complete. Combining what I'd learned from the texts and the 5 hearts method, and using my heaven-defying comprehension ability, I finally perfected it. Luo Feng and Luo Hua exchanged looks. If the energy surge they'd witnessed was any indication, Luo Xia's new method was powerful. Because your whole body can absorb energy at once, Luo Xia added, a huge amount can gather instantly. That's why it caused such a commotion just now. Luo Hua stared. Their third brother's mind was astonishing. While others were spending money on advanced guiding techniques and learning the 5 hearts method step by step, here Luo Xia had already invented a new method, and by the look of it, it outclassed many of those techniques. Luo Feng smiled wryly. He wasn't surprised. After all, Luo Xia had helped optimize the Thunder God guiding technique he practiced earlier. That refinement had suited him perfectly and had pushed his cultivation forward. Seeing Luo Xia do this again was just the sort of thing he'd come to expect. But be careful, Luo Xia warned. This method is brutal. Your body has to be at the advanced warrior level to withstand the sudden influx of universe energy. If you try it before then, your body will collapse under the impact. Luo Feng nodded. He understood now why the display had been so intense, and why it was dangerous in the wrong hands. Chapter 50. Luo Feng and Xu Xin. After taking up the new cultivation method, Luo Xia's physical level had skyrocketed. When he started, he'd only just reached the advanced warrior tier, barely entry level, but after practicing the new method, he jumped to intermediate advanced warrior in a single month. That rate of improvement was almost unbelievable. Ordinary martial artists needed months, even years, to make that kind of progress. Not even a prodigy could normally accomplish it without expensive genetic drugs. Yet Luo Xia had done it through the new training method alone. Seeing his brother surge ahead lit a fire under Luo Feng. Spurred on, Luo Feng practiced tirelessly and mastered the first level of the 9 heavy thunder blade, a technique that could multiply his strength 4-fold. His physical level steadily climbed to junior warrior general, and his mental power reached advanced warrior. Together, the two brothers had already reached a point where they could go on hunting expeditions in certain city-level zones. Let's go to 023 City, Luo Xia said, tapping the map that showed the Jiangnan base city and the wilderness towns around it. 023 City? Luong frowned. Isn't that risky? The intel shows at least 5 Lord-level monsters and countless Beast General-level beasts there. We're both psychic masters now, Luo Xia replied, and our physical levels are at Warrior General. Going after county-level monsters that are only beast soldier level won't push us. Martial artists only grow by fighting on the edge of life and death. Even if we can't win every fight, with our strength we can escape if things go sour. With his war god-level psychic master abilities, even a lord-level monster would struggle to pin Luo Xia down. That was why he proposed 023 City. Luo Feng thought it over, then nodded. All right, we'll go to 023 City. Luo Xia smiled faintly. If it weren't so unstable, I'd rather go to 003 City. Luo Feng stared, then forced a wry laugh. 003 City is one of the biggest monster strongholds on the whole Eurasian continent. Tons of lord-level monsters and countless beast generals. It's far more dangerous than 2-3. We need to take it one step at a time. Even if we grew fast on paper, we lack field experience. Let's train in 2-3 first. Luo Xia agreed. They packed survival gear, said their goodbyes, and chose a Saturday to head to Jiangnan Base City. Satellite cities like Yangzhou didn't run direct trains into the wilderness area. To enter the wild, you had to go to a base city and catch a special train. That Saturday morning, a sleek sports car pulled into the HR Alliance Mall Plaza. Dressed in combat gear and carrying shields, Luo Xia and Luo Feng stepped into the first-floor lobby and were greeted like regulars by the doorman. I figured you picked Saturday because you wanted to see your sister-in-law, Luo Xia teased. Luo Feng's face reddened. Don't be ridiculous. She hasn't agreed to anything yet. Don't let Xu Xin hear you. Go sit on the sofa over there. Got it. Luo Xia sauntered toward a booth in the bar with his iced cola, muttering, once you have a girlfriend, you don't want your brother around anymore. Luo Feng's ears, ever sharp, caught the remark. He shot Luo Xia an exasperated glare and walked to the bar counter. Hi, Xu Xin, he called. Xu Xin, finishing with a waiter, looked up and smiled when she saw him. Luo Feng returned the smile. Could I get a cup of pu'er? By the way, do you have time to catch up, old classmates? Xu Xin hesitated for a moment, then told the waiter to handle the drinks. She stepped out from behind the bar. There aren't many customers today. Let's sit over there. She then glanced toward the booth where Luo Xia sat. Oh, your brother's here? Want to sit together? Not with him. He likes to sit alone, Luo Feng said without missing a beat. Let's find an empty spot for the two of us. All right. Xu Xin smiled and led him to an empty table. From his booth, Luo Xia watched the pair laughing together and sipped his cola. He couldn't help feeling a twinge of jealousy, then grinned to himself. They look like they're going to split their cheeks from smiling. A young man in black trousers and shirt stepped out of the elevator and scanned the room. When he noticed Xu Xin and Luo Feng in the corner, he frowned. Who's Xiaoxin talking to? He muttered, then took a closer look and recognized Luo Feng. Oh, senior trainee Luo Feng. He hesitated, then smirked and walked over to an empty booth near Luo Xia. Do you mind if I sit down? He asked. Luo Xia blinked and smiled. No, go ahead. The young man took the seat and glanced at Luo Xia's cola. A bar and you're not drinking alcohol? We're headed into the wilderness later, Luo Xia replied. Also, I'm not old enough to drink. The young man's eyebrows shot up. You're not 18 yet? Luo Xia shook his head. I just turned 17. The young man smiled and offered his hand. Name's Xu Gang. Luo Xia was surprised for a second. Xu Gang, Xu Xin's brother. He took the hand. I'm Luo Xia. Xu Gang's eyes flashed with recognition. You're Luo Feng's brother, he said. He looked Luo Xia over and then toward Xu Xin and Luo Feng. Your brother and my sister are in the same class, right? Nice to meet you. There was a cold edge to his tone. I heard you're some kind of prodigy. Have you already reached intermediate warrior? His words carried contempt. The Xu family had the means to hire high-level martial artists, and Xu Gang assumed Luo Feng and his brother couldn't compare. Luo Xia met his gaze without flinching. He didn't answer the question directly. Across the bar, Luo Feng and Xu Xin continued their conversation, unaware that tension had quietly settled in the booth beside Luo Xia. 23 City, Shenzhen. 03 City, Shanghai. Chapter 51. Luo Xia and Xu Gang. Xu Gang's voice was thick with contempt as he spoke. Luo Xia let a corner of his mouth curl, took a slow sip of his cola, and replied casually, You called me a super genius. Why would you assume I'm only an intermediate warrior? Xu Gang blinked. No one had ever talked to him like that before. As the Shu family's young master, he was used to people being deferential. "You're already an advanced warrior?" he asked. Trying to keep his tone even. A 17-year-old advanced warrior would certainly be impressive, but to the Shu family, it wasn't earth-shattering. Shu Gang nodded, reluctantly admitting some talent, but he couldn't let go of his arrogance. He looked Luo Xia up and down and said, "If you've reached advanced warrior at your age, you're talented. Would you consider joining the Shu family? We have influence, status, resources. If you come with us, I can arrange you a fat salary. A position with the Shu family is a lot safer than scraping by in the wilderness area." He glanced at Luo Feng and Xu Xin and sneered. "You two seem to be getting along quite well, but there's something you should know: matching families. Our Su family wouldn't allow the young miss to marry a martial artist. We have plenty of warrior generals already. So tell your brother to stop dreaming. He's not getting a swan." Luo Xia shrugged, finishing his drink. He stood slowly, picked at his ear, and fixed Shu Gang with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Mr. Shu, your matching family's argument is well put," he said mildly. "But my brother won't look down on senior Xu Xin's background. If she's to be worthy of my brother, your Shu family still has some catching up to do." Shu Gang's face went red. "What did you mean by that?" Luo Xia leaned in, close enough that his words were nearly a whisper in Shu Gang's ear. "I'm not claiming huge talent," he said, "but I'm already an advanced warrior general." "What?" Shu Gang's pupils narrowed, disbelief overtaking him. Luo Xia waved a hand. "Please keep that between us, Mr. Shu." He didn't give Shu Gang a chance to respond. With a small, almost dismissive bow, he turned and walked back to Luo Feng and Xu Xin, leaving Shu Gang sputtering on the sofa. He wasn't worried about revealing his strength. He and Luo Feng had already agreed they would explain everything to the Dojo of Limits soon. Their talents needed to be shown at the right time. In their world, hiding your potential could close doors. The more exceptional you were, the more powerful backers you could attract. As Luo Xia walked away, Shu Gang looked down and froze. Beside his foot was a footprint pressed into the mall floor, sunk more than 10 centimeters. His breath caught. The HR Alliance Mall had been outfitted with a specially reinforced floor to prevent damage from martial artists. Ordinary fighters couldn't leave a mark. What was worse, when Luo Xia stepped away, there had been no sound, no ripple, yet the floor was indented. Cold sweat beaded on Shu Gang's forehead as he stared after Luo Xia's retreating figure. A 17-year-old advanced warrior general? Could that be real? Inside, Luo Xia smiled at Luo Feng. "We should probably head out now, big brother." He turned to Xu Xin and offered a polite nod. "Senior Xu Xin, it's been a while." "Luo Xia, hello," Xu Xin replied with a warm smile. Luo Feng glanced at the time and, regretting the short visit, stood. "Let's leave it there for today. We'll talk again another time, Xu Xin." Xu Xin rose as well and then hesitated. "You two are heading to the wilderness area?" "Yes." "Just the two of you?" "Yes, just me and Luo Xia." She looked down for a moment, then looked up at Luo Feng. "Promise me you'll come back safely." "We will," Luo Feng said with a bright smile. "You have my word." "Take care, Senior Xu Xin." They turned and left. Xu Xin watched them until they disappeared, then turned to head back to the bar, only to find Shu Gang slumped on the sofa, pale and haggard. "Big brother? What are you doing here?" she asked in surprise, rushing over. Seeing his ashen face, she startled. "Are you all right?" Shu Gang waved her off weakly. "I'm fine, Xin. Go back to work. I just caught a bit of a chill. Sitting here will do me good." "Really?" she pressed. "You should go back to the bar. Rest and I'll call someone if you need help." "All right, if anything happens, call me. I'll be at the bar." She left reluctantly. Soon after, a senior martial artist in the Shu family uniform approached, Uncle Wang, an advanced warrior general. "Young Master Shu, what can I do for you?" Shu Gang pointed to the footprint he'd covered with a tissue. "Take a look at this." Uncle Wang crouched and stared. His eyes narrowed. "This is—" He hesitated, then shook his head minutely. "I could do something like this," he admitted, "but it's incredibly difficult to leave such a deep impression without damaging the surrounding floor. It requires extraordinary body control. Who left it?" Shu Gang swallowed. He said he's an advanced warrior general. Uncle Wang's expression turned grave. If someone can control their strength that precisely, they're likely very close to breaking into God of War level. I've only seen this kind of refined control among the gods of war. Shu Gang's legs went weak. The reinforced mall floor was designed specifically because past fights had shattered ordinary materials. Even warrior generals had trouble making a mark. Yet whoever had left that footprint had done it without splintering the surrounding tiles. Only someone with extreme finesse could manage that. He slumped back onto the sofa, eyes hollow. So that was it. He had insulted a prodigy. And not just any prodigy, one already at advanced warrior general level at 17, possibly on the verge of becoming a god of war. Whatever the Su family's status, they had no right to provoke someone like that. Chapter 52, Scaled Iron Bull. Luo Xia had no idea how much trouble and regret the careless footprints he'd left behind had caused Shu Gang. At the moment, he and Luo Feng were already on a train heading for a military base south of Jiangnan Bay City. "We're in B3 district. Take the key," the guard said. They were handed the key to a base villa and followed the signs to B3. Settled on the sofa, the two brothers checked their gear and talked. After their payday with the Fire Hammer Squad in 0210 County, they'd upgraded some equipment. Both had replaced their throwing knives with 3 9 Series blades apiece. A single 9 Series knife could fetch 45 million at market. Fortunately, Gao Feng had helped them buy, and they'd gotten a discount, but even so, the 6 knives cost the two of them 700 million. The 9 Series knives were incredibly sharp, capable of piercing the defenses of Lord-level monsters far more easily than the older 7 Series. Luo Feng wiped his Blood Shadow battle blade carefully and grinned at Luo Xia across from him. "For now, we have to stick to the highway. The Beijing-Hangzhou Grand Canal is choked with monsters. If we took a boat, we wouldn't even know how we died." Luo Xia sighed. "It's not just the Grand Canal. The Yangtze and the Yellow River are full of them too. Monsters surged in from the sea. Humans have basically lost control of inland waters and the seas." "Yeah," Luo Feng said. "I wonder when we'll get those back." "There'll be a day," Luo Xia replied. Both of them missed the old human glory before the great nirvana. For Luo Feng, born after the cataclysm, it was history from books. Luo Xia had actually lived through it. They rested at the supply base for a day. On the second morning, backpacks and shields on their backs, longswords and battle blades at their sides, they set out along the highway toward 023 City. The road was broken and littered with abandoned cars and trucks, but in empty stretches, they strapped on their shields and flew. What should have been a 5-day journey was cut to 2, still mostly on foot so they wouldn't expose their identities as Psyker masters. 023 City was dangerous, an urban hunting ground for monsters, but also for martial artists. Along the way, they ran into 3 different martial artist squads. Those squads were always wary of strangers. In the wilderness, people could be as much a threat as monsters. The Tiger Fang squad had shown them that. Luo Xia and Luo Feng didn't want trouble, so whenever they spotted other squads, they kept their distance and stayed on the highway. As they neared 023 City, the ruined skyline came into view. Then Luo Xia pointed excitedly at a pond beside the road. "Big brother, an elementary beast general scale armor iron bull ahead." Luo Feng followed his gaze. A herd of mutated cattle drank from the pond. Their bodies were plated with thick metallic scales. One was much larger than the rest, a beast general level scale armor iron bull. It towered 3 or 4 meters high and stretched 5 or 6 meters long. Its scaled hide shone in the sun like living armor, a walking tank. "This is practically the city outskirts," Luo Xia said. "I didn't expect a beast general this close. Urban areas really do have the highest ranks of monsters." Most of the monsters they'd met before had been beast soldier level. This was their first beast general on the trip. Scale armor, iron bulls were fearsome. Their defense was off the charts and their attacks were brutal. Experienced warriors usually detoured around them. These beasts were notoriously hard to cut through. But the horns on a scale armor iron bull were worth a fortune. On the HR Alliance Mall, a general-level horn could sell for 20 million. Even a soldier-level horn went for more than 2 million. There are 6 soldier-level scale armor iron bulls around it. "Big brother," Luo Xia said. "I'll take the general. You can handle the soldiers." "No problem," Luo Feng replied. They charged. Neither of them used mental power. They wanted to sharpen their combat skills and gain real battlefield experience. If they'd unleashed their powers, the bulls would have been cut down instantly by their throwing knives. The general raised its head and bellowed. The smaller bulls answered in kind. In less than 2 heartbeats, the brothers were on top of them. The general struck first, stomping and crashing forward like a mountain. Luo Xia spun and slipped past its flank, narrowly avoiding the massing bulk. But another iron bull lunged at him, horns glinting. "Get lost!" Luo Feng roared, stepping in front of the charge. He slashed with his blood shadow battle blade. Sparks flew off the iron hide with a dull clang. The blade vibrated, sending a buzzing through his arm. The blow barely slowed the charging bull. The impact shoved Luo Feng back. Another bull bore down on them, and he slammed his shield up. When the beast hit, Luo Feng used its momentum to step aside and pull them both back from the herd. Luo Xia, saved by his brother's intervention, kept the general entangled and drove it toward the edge of the group. The general's size meant that its movements were hampered by the surrounding bulls. As Luo Xia deliberately led it away, those interfering beasts gradually thinned out. Bit by bit, the massive scale armor iron bull was being drawn away from its support, isolated at the rim of the herd. The scale armor iron bull's defense is considered top tier among monsters. Luckily, its attacks are pretty one-dimensional, mostly just charges, and it isn't very fast. Its weak points are the underbelly and the rear, but the rear is protected by that tail, so it's very hard to hit. And the scale armor rarely exposes its underbelly. If you dare to go for it, it can spin and use the momentum to hurl you away. Luo Xia ran the data through his head as he circled the beast general-level scale armor iron bull. The creature truly was like a walking tank. Taking it down would be no small feat. "Moo!" The iron bull bellowed and charged again. Luo Xia sidestepped, avoiding the impact, and prepared to move behind it to stab at the exposed underbelly. Before he could get into position, the bull whipped its iron-like tail. Crack! A lash that flew for him like a heavy metal whip. Luo Xia met it with his sword. Sparks flew as blade struck tail, but the tail showed no sign of damage. "Humph, immense force," he muttered, feeling the tremor up the blade. The bull pivoted, its great mass surging like a mountain. Luo Xia's eyes narrowed, and opening. He dropped low. His long sword flashed like a streak of moonlight as he unleashed the first level of his swordsmanship technique, the fourfold force. The blade sliced through air and met the iron bull's underbelly. Sizzle! The sound of steel on scaled hide was like iron scraping old tofu. Luo Xia's base strength already exceeded 32,000 kilograms. With the fourfold force, the blow delivered over 128,000 kilograms of impact, power rivaling an intermediate god of war. No matter how thick the scale armor's defense, it had limits, and he'd struck its most vulnerable spot, the unarmored belly. The bull gave a mournful moo. Blood and entrails spilled. With a heavy thunk, it folded and slammed to the ground, dust kicking up around it. Luo Xia stood with his sword and glanced toward Luo Feng. Luo Feng was weaving in the center of a ring of 6 scale armor iron bulls. Without mental power boosting his footwork, he'd almost been overwhelmed, but his reflexes were fast. Every time a charge came, his instincts bailed him out. Under constant pressure, his footwork had been improving. Suddenly, 4 advanced beast soldier-level iron bulls charged at him from all directions. He was surrounded, with almost nowhere to go. For a moment, time seemed to slow for Luo Feng. He saw the gaps in the charging beasts and slipped between them, moving small but precise. Each step avoided the horns and hooves. Micro-level footwork, he thought. Luo Xia had been about to rush in, but when he saw his brother dodge those attacks, he smiled. Luo Feng's footwork had finally broken into micro-level. "Big brother, I'll help you," Luo Xia called and joined the fray. The beast soldier-level bulls were far weaker than the beast general. Together, the brothers tore through the remaining 6, and soon the city was littered with their fallen bodies. "Who?" Luo Feng exhaled, panting. Even though his physique was at junior warrior general level, holding off 6 advanced beast soldiers had taken its toll. While Luo Xia had taken down the beast general, a few soldier-level bulls had tried to assist, but Luo Feng had kept them at bay. "Congratulations, big brother. Your footwork has reached micro-level," Luo Xia said with a grin. Luo Feng returned the smile. "It's mostly thanks to you. The flowing light footwork that comes with the 9 heavy Thunderblade made all the difference. Micro level is even harder to reach than I expected. Let's strip the horns and hides, then find a place to stash them for now, Luo Xia suggested. The hides and horns were extremely valuable, but huge, impossible to stuff into a backpack. They didn't want to carry that burden into 023 City, so they planned to hide the loot and come back for it later. They worked quickly. Thanks to their 7 series and 9 series flying daggers, removing the hides and cutting off the horns was manageable. In a short time, they had 7 sets of horns and hides concealed in a well-hidden cache. With that done, the brothers moved toward 23 City. As they neared the towering buildings, the number of monsters and the intensity of their roars increased. Everywhere they looked were Beast Soldier and Beast General level creatures. Wow, that Lion Mastiff was actually an intermediate Beast General, Luo Xia whispered. Look, 3 Beast Generals fighting over there, Luo Feng pointed. An advanced Beast General, 4-tailed Tiger Cat, another sighting came. Quiet, let's go around them, they agreed. They relied on caution learned from the Firehammer squad. Stick to alleys, avoid large packs, and strike only when necessary. If avoidance failed, they charged together and finished the monsters quickly. Over an hour later, they found a multi-story residential block and slipped inside, climbing toward the rooftop. The building held monsters too, but only Beast Soldier level. The brothers dispatched them easily and reached the roof. When the iron rooftop door clanged shut behind them, both of them sighed with relief. They sat against a wall, drew out high-energy rations and water, and began to recuperate. Luo Xia ate while Luo Feng drank, both thinking over the city's dangers. This urban area is even scarier than the county town, Luo Xia said. We ran into 6 or 7 beast generals on the way here. Yeah, Luo Feng replied. Thankfully, as Captain Gao Feng said, most beast generals tend to roam alone, with fewer soldier-level monsters around them. It makes hunting them manageable. Luo Feng looked at his brother. Let's rest a bit, then start looking for our next targets. Luo Xia nodded and raised his binoculars, scanning the streets and rooftops of 23 City for the next beast general to hunt. Chapter 54, Hunting and the Phantom Butterfly. In this city, finding a beast general level creature wasn't difficult. After Luo Feng and Luo Xia finished their dry rations, they spotted an intermediate beast general, an ironhide mad boar, not far from a residential building. Among pig-type monsters, the ironhide mad boar stood out for its astonishing defense, much like the scale-armored iron bull. There are other smaller monsters around the boar, Luo Feng noted. Not many, only 13, Luo Xia replied. Big brother, what do you think? What else? We kill them, of course, Luo Feng said. They checked their gear, stepped onto their shields, and charged. The ironhide mad boar's defense was remarkable, but under Luo Xia's fourfold force technique, he still managed to drive his sword through the beast's ear and crush its skull. As the boar fell, the 2 brothers cleaned up the remaining lesser monsters. The hide was the most valuable part. They peeled it off and, before any other predators could swarm, stepped back onto their shields and returned to the rooftop of the nearby building. Days passed. Since Luo Xia and Luo Feng arrived in 023 City, lone beast general level creatures had been having a terrible time. The brothers barely used mental power. They preferred to fight up close, sparring with the monsters until an opening appeared, and then delivering the killing blow. That sort of practical combat training sped their cultivation dramatically. Luo Feng's physique was already approaching that of an intermediate war general, and he'd basically mastered the 2nd stage of the 9 heavy Thunderblade, now able to consistently unleash 1.5 times his original physical strength. Because they hunted so many monsters, they returned to the supply base periodically to sell their materials. The first time they met a merchant named Lu from the HR Alliance. Not bad at all. You 2 actually hunted scale-armored iron bulls. Advanced warriors usually avoid those, Lu said as he inspected their haul. A pair of beast general-level bullhorns and hide, and 6 pairs of advanced beast soldier-level bullhorns and hides. I'll give you 50 million for those. As for the ironhide mad boar pelts, 5 million for the beast general-level hide, and 500,000 each for the others. Their second trip brought Lu fresh wonder. You hunted an advanced beast general-level double-tailed tiger cat? Incredible. I'll give you 38 million for its tail sinews, and this elementary beast General Shadow Kill Dog, 12 million. That thing is lethal and fast. How did you manage it? On their third trip, Liu could only marvel. Do you two have a secret for killing beast general level monsters? You keep bringing them in. Fine, 80 million for everything this time. You want to sell it all? One afternoon, the brothers rested on a skyscraper rooftop, drinking water and counting their recent earnings. They'd only been in the city a short while. Captain Gao Feng was right, Luo Feng said with a grin. Martial artists make good money. We haven't been here long, and we've already pulled in nearly 300 million. Luo Xia munched a high-energy chocolate and asked, Big brother, have you fully mastered the second stage of the 9 heavy Thunderblade? Luo Feng nodded. Yes, I can consistently release 1.5 times my normal power. With my physique nearly at intermediate war general level, the burst I can produce is edging on advanced warrior territory. He frowned in curiosity. Speaking of techniques, Luo Xia, have you formed the second stage of your sword art yet? Do you want me to get later world annihilation manuals for reference? Luo Xia shook his head. I don't need those later world annihilation manuals. My sword art has diverged from Hong's world annihilation spear technique. In my vision, the second stage of my force technique has to reach 8 times the original physical strength. That's tough, but I can do it. He sounded a little proud, and with good reason. For Luo Xia, the most important thing in world annihilation had been the underlying thought, Hong's concept of making the weapon in hand faster and unleashing greater force. The subsequent secret manuals mostly elaborated on that same idea, how to speed up the spear and make its strikes more powerful. Luo Xia's sword method used that principle but took it further. His force technique was already so much stronger that the later world annihilation manuals offered little in the way of useful guidance. He would have to work out the second stage himself. Fortunately, his comprehension ability was extraordinary. He said it would be difficult, but in reality, he already had a clear path. With more practice, he would likely reach the 8-fold force technique soon. That jump would be monumental. He could approach the power of an advanced god of war while still being at advanced warrior level, effectively bridging an entire rank. Even Thunder God's 9 heavy Thunderblade, at its 9th stage, only reached a 7-fold force technique. Luo Feng's eyes widened at that. His younger brother's sword art had clearly outstripped the 9 heavy Thunderblade. Luo Xia laughed at Luo Feng's stunned look. He had considered optimizing the 9 heavy Thunderblade for his brother, but after studying the Thunder God's manuscript, he realized it was already extremely well developed. Any further enhancement would make it much harder to learn, too much for Luo Feng to take on now. It would be better for Luo Feng to learn the Thunder God version as it stood and continue to improve through practice. So Luo Xia focused on refining the technique's guiding and movement methods instead, and those improvements had already helped. Luo Feng's physical quality had climbed to nearly an intermediate war general. They chatted for a while longer then, once rested, picked up their binoculars, and scanned the city for beast general level prey. The sun was high. It was the brightest part of the day. Luo Xia's gaze caught on an unusual color. He blinked, then excitedly cried out, Big brother, look, there's a beast general level phantom butterfly. A phantom butterfly? Luo Feng startled and snatched up his binoculars. Where? Nothing obvious showed through the glass. Phantom butterflies were masters of disguise. When still, their bodies blended nearly perfectly with the environment. Luo Xia pointed, patient. Look closely. See that stained glass window on the cathedral? One panel has a color that's slightly off. Luo Feng squinted and studied the giant stained glass. Under careful scrutiny, he saw it too. One hue that didn't quite belong, so subtle it would be easy to miss. If Luo Xia hadn't pointed it out, Luo Feng might never have noticed. Are you sure it's a phantom butterfly? He asked, hardly daring to hope. Phantom butterflies were extraordinarily rare. Martial artists who'd ever seen one could be counted on one hand. If they could catch a beast general level phantom butterfly, the HR Alliance Mall would pay over $1 billion for it. Why was it so valuable? Phantom butterflies are mutated butterflies with powerful mental energy abilities. They can weave illusions and dreamscapes. Most important, Their bodies contain a crystal core that can massively boost a Psyker Master's mental energy, priceless to the right buyers. Big brother, we absolutely have to take down this phantom butterfly. Luo Xia's voice trembled with excitement. If it weren't for his sharp eyes, he would have missed the rare, beast general level creature altogether. Luo Feng nodded once. Let's go. They stepped onto their shields and shot through the ruined city toward the cathedral where the phantom butterfly had landed. They kept low, weaving between ruined buildings and avoiding the monsters roaming the streets. Any noise could spook the butterfly, and it would be gone. The cathedral was mostly a skeleton of stone and dust, but one huge stained glass window remained largely intact. The phantom butterfly clung to it, almost a part of the glass itself. If you weren't looking for it, you'd never notice. Butterfly beasts were small. This beast general-sized specimen was barely larger than a basketball. Luo Xia and Luo Feng exchanged a glance and froze. The phantom butterfly was notoriously alert. Any disturbance and it would vanish in a heartbeat. Its speed was legendary. Ordinary martial artists had no hope of catching one. At this distance, it shouldn't notice us, Luo Xia whispered, watching the camouflaged insect. They were roughly 100 meters away. Because of the phantom butterfly's unique abilities, both men felt their best chance was to use mental power. If it escaped now, they'd be cursing themselves for days. Luo Xia drew a slow breath. Then, with a thought, the Series 9 flying dagger concealed at his leg shot out as if teleporting, aimed straight at the butterfly. At that instant, something unseen pulsed from the phantom butterfly. Its gauzy wings beat once, and time seemed to seize them. Luo Xia and Luo Feng froze, their expressions slack and glassy. The sound of a fan filled the frozen space. Whoosh, whoosh. Luo Xia blinked and found himself sitting in a sagging computer chair. His dorm laptop hummed quietly, the fan whining despite no programs running. August heat rolled in a humid breath from outside. For a moment he simply stared, slightly stunned. That wasn't a cathedral. That was his old room, the room he'd had before transmigrating. The teacup on the desk, the jacket on the chair, the worn laptop he bought as a freshman, they were all exactly where he'd left them. He pinched himself. Ow! It stung. He knew the phantom butterfly could create illusions, but how could it recreate a place it had never seen? Did it somehow read minds? Luo Xia paced the room. Every scrap of detail was right. The spinning fan, the threadbare blanket, the familiar poster on the wall. He drew in a steadying breath and told himself, "Think, Luo Xia. How do you break an illusion?" Meanwhile, the illusion shifted and folded over Luo Feng like silk. He sat on the floor by two small baby carriages. The fan thrummed. The room smelled faintly of milk and detergent. He glanced from a book in his hand to the sleeping infants. One of them blinked awake, and Luo Feng set the book aside, leaning over to place a finger to his lips and soothe the child. "Xiao Xia, don't cry, okay? Mommy went out to buy groceries. She'll be back soon." The baby, Xiao Xia, blinked up at him with bright eyes and fell silent. Relief relaxed Luo Feng's shoulders. Then the other infant, Xiaohua, began to wail. He scrambled for a bottle dangling from the carriage. "Xiaohua, are you hungry? Big brother will give you milk." The second child latched on and quieted after a few frantic sucks. Luo Feng wiped sweat from his brow and chuckled. The two baby carriages were peaceful, and he settled down with his book, waiting for their mother's return. Back in the cathedral, the flying dagger that Luo Xia had launched had been slowed and turned by the phantom butterfly's invisible pressure. It didn't strike the creature. It clanged off the stained glass and shattered a wide hole in the window. Glass exploded outward in a glittering curtain. In that sudden shaft of sunlight, the phantom butterfly fluttered, each wing catching the light into a dreamy halo. The illusion scenes kept weaving between them. In Luo Xia's reconstructed dorm, a phone began to ring. He fumbled across the bed and answered, an unknown number. "May I speak to Mr. Luo Xia?" the voice asked. "Speaking. Who is this?" A man apologized and explained he had hit an unconscious woman and found Luo Xia's contact in her phone. "Is your mother's name Gong Xinlan?" he asked. Luo Xia's brows knit. He recognized the name, Gong Xinlan, but that was the name his mother had in this life, after transmigrating. In his first life, his mother had been someone else entirely. A cold little knot formed in his gut. "Yes," he lied into the phone. How is she?" She's in critical condition. We took her to Yan District First People's Hospital. Please come. Your relatives need to be here. Luo Xia felt an instinctual tug to rush out the room, to run toward the hospital. He pushed the thought away. The world outside the window was an empty, bright void. He could feel the pull of it like a maw. If he stepped into that void, he might not come back. I'm sorry, he said finally, keeping his voice level. I can't come. But why not? The man sputtered, incredulous. Luo Xia smiled faintly and lied without hesitation. My mom's probably out chatting with the neighbors. She'll be back soon. Then he hung up. He stood in the familiar room and let out a silent breath. He might never return to his original world, he thought. The realization stung, but in the same instant his pupils flashed golden. Outside the illusionary window, in the void, a dreamlike butterfly drifted by. A surge of awareness burst in his mind. The golden orb of his mental energy flared, and the ocean of his consciousness churned like a storm. At the same time, in Luo Feng's illusion, the front door opened. A tired-looking woman carrying a basket of groceries stepped in. His mother, Gong Xinlan. She glanced toward the sleeping infants in the carriages with a cold, unreadable expression. Mom? Luo Feng asked, puzzled. What's wrong? They're fine. I gave them bottles. Gong Xinlan stooped to look at the babies, then turned back to him. Her voice was flat and severed. Have you always hated these two? Their births took our love away from you, didn't they? Luo Feng's heart seized. He'd never hated the babies. His parents had paid less attention to him after they were born, but not once had he wished them harm. Before he could answer, his mother reached into her basket, drew out a cleaver, and lifted it high. So, if I kill them, all my and your father's love can be yours. The cleaver swung down. No, Luo Feng roared. Where the roar came from, he wasn't sure. His illusionary body was that of a toddler, barely 2 years old, but somehow he surged forward with a strength that shouldn't have belonged to him. He knocked the woman aside. She tumbled and crashed to the floor. Luo Feng's breath came fast, his little chest heaving. His vision cleared in a rush, and anger cut sharp. Damn it! I fell into the phantom butterfly's illusion. He glanced to the window, and there, beyond the glass in that dream world, the phantom butterfly drifted, luminous and aloof. Back in the ruined cathedral, the two brothers snapped out of the paralysis nearly at once. The flying dagger had clipped the stained glass, leaving a jagged, glittering hole. Sunlight spilled through, and the phantom butterfly rode the light like a dancer, its wings scattering prismatic halos. Both men felt it then. The butterfly's illusion had tried to trap them in their memories. Luo Xia's pupils were still faintly gold. The orb of his mental power had swelled in response. Luo Feng, breath ragged, still felt the aftershock of the mother's cleaver. We were pulled into its illusion, Luo Feng said, voice low and furious. Luo Xia nodded, wiping his palms on his thighs. It's using who we are against us. Don't let it take us again. They tightened their grips on their shields and fixed their gazes on the insect that had tricked them. The phantom butterfly drifted deceptively calm on the broken stained glass, but both brothers now understood how dangerous it was. Fast, cunning, and able to prey on the mind. Luo Xia steadied himself. His mental energy had awakened. He could feel it humming beneath his skin. He wouldn't be fooled twice. Chapter 56. Kill the Phantom Butterfly. Not far from the cathedral, a martial artist team rested on the roof of a tall building. A young man with red hair was scanning the area with binoculars when something caught his eye. He straightened and called out, excited, "Boss, look!" The others turned to him. What is it? That's a phantom butterfly. The team of 6 erupted in surprise. Their captain, a broad-shouldered, bearded, middle-aged man wielding a massive warhammer, grabbed a pair of binoculars and peered toward the cathedral. The red-haired youth's voice trembled with excitement. I'm sure of it, and by the size, it's a beast general-level phantom butterfly. No way, someone breathed. The rest of the team focused on the graceful shape fluttering near the cathedral and could hardly contain their astonishment. We're so lucky. A phantom butterfly. Those sell for over $1 billion. Captain, let's go. If we take it down, we won't have to come back to the wilderness area for a year. Wu Zhuang, the captain, shared their excitement, but kept his voice measured. Phantom butterflies aren't easy. They're incredibly fast, and a beast general level one can outrun even an elementary god of war if it wants to. The red-haired youth, Lu Fa, brightened and suggested, "We could snipe it." Wu Zhuang shook his head. "You don't understand. Phantom butterflies specialize in mental energy. They surround themselves with an invisible mental barrier. If a sniper rifle doesn't kill one in a single shot, the barrier will deflect the rest, and the phantom butterfly will flee." Lu Fa's enthusiasm faltered. "Then what can we do? Are we just going to watch it escape?" Before Wu Zhuang could answer, Gang Liang, the team's sniper, spoke up. "Captain, less than 200 meters from the cathedral, I see two martial artists. They look like they're moving toward the phantom butterfly." Wu Zhuang trained his binoculars on the figures Gang Liang had seen. The two stood frozen and stiff as statues. "They've been hit by the phantom butterfly's mental attack," he said, frowning. "The phantom butterfly's mental attack?" "Yes, as a creature that uses mental energy, it's very good at creating illusions. Its mirages are so realistic even strong psyker masters have trouble telling real from false. That's terrifying. It can affect us from over 100 meters away. How are we supposed to catch it?" Wu Zhuang considered it. Usually, only a psyker master's attack has any real chance, maybe 80% of bringing one down. We don't have a psyker master on this team. Gang Liang, still watching, suddenly stilled. "Captain, those two martial artists are coming to." Another teammate pointed. "Captain, the phantom butterfly is trying to escape." Wu Zhuang lifted his binoculars. The phantom butterfly streaked like a phantom, heading away at tremendous speed. Then, without warning, a second streak of light slashed through the air and struck it. In the space of a heartbeat, the butterfly paused and tumbled to the ground. "What happened?" one man cried. Wu Zhuang's face turned grave. Even as an advanced warrior, he recognized the attack's signature, a 9 series flying knife. Whoever had fired it must be a psyker master. The flying knife had pierced the phantom butterfly's mental barrier, something the team's weapons would almost certainly have failed to do. Whoever hit it was powerful. "Captain, those two martial artists are flying toward where the phantom butterfly fell," someone shouted. "They're psyker masters," another gasped. "They must be the ones who hit it." Luo Xia and Luo Feng, who had been trapped in the phantom butterfly's illusion, now recovered. They were the two figures the team had watched. Using shield-like flying devices, they zipped toward the fallen creature. Lu Fa watched them with hunger in his eyes. "Captain, what do we do? Are we just going to let those two psyker masters take it?" Wu Zhuang shot him a hard look. "Not a chance. Those are psyker masters. One of them could wipe out our whole team." A heavy silence fell over the roof. The men were reluctant to back down. This was a phantom butterfly, an enormous payday, but the thought of facing not one, but two psyker masters froze them. If they'd had a god of war level fighter among them, they might have tried to snatch it. As it stood, their captain was only an advanced warrior. They weren't throwing their lives away for a prize. "Fine," Wu Zhuang said sharply. "Keep quiet and don't do anything stupid." Across the way, Luo Xia grinned as he tucked the stunned phantom butterfly into his backpack. That was fast. It nearly got away. After breaking free of the illusion, the brothers had immediately attacked. The phantom butterfly sensed the danger and tried to trap them by erecting wave after wave of illusions, monsters they had supposedly faced before, ranging from beast soldier level to lord level, all packed tightly and looking as if they carried real auras. But Luo Xia and Luo Feng were psyker masters with strong mental energy. The moment the illusions attacked, they unleashed their mental energy and shattered the phantoms. The phantom butterfly then sped away. So fast, it became a streaking blur several hundred meters distant. Luo Xia reacted at once, launching his flying knife. This time he was fully conscious and not affected by the phantom butterfly's mental tricks. His weapon, at intermediate god of war level, tore through the air like a razor. It penetrated the mental barrier and struck true, piercing the creature's body and ending its life. Luo Feng let out a shaky laugh. "I didn't expect that even over 100 meters away, we'd still be pulled into its illusion. If we weren't psyker masters with strong mental energy, we wouldn't have broken out." "Yeah," Luo Xia agreed. "It seems to read our thoughts. Its illusions match what you're thinking. It's terrifying." They shared a look. If the phantom butterfly had read their memories perfectly, Luo Xia might have been trapped in the comfortable room the illusion showed him, and Luo Feng in that sweltering evening of childhood memory, his mother's treat of an iced pop, the sweet, refreshing taste he could still recall. It was only because the creature's information was limited and mixed up that Luo Xia had noticed inconsistencies on his phone, which broke the spell. They both suddenly felt watched. Luo Xia frowned. Someone's observing us. You feel it too? Yeah. They must have seen us hunting the phantom butterfly. What should we do? Better not stick around. This thing's worth too much. Let's avoid trouble and get out of here. They slipped into the alleys and melted away between buildings, putting distance between themselves and the cathedral. On the roof, Wu Zhuang and his team watched them vanish with mixed feelings. Disappointed at losing the prize, but relieved no fight had broken out. Had they tried to snatch it, the consequences could have been deadly. Still, the sight of two rare Psyker Masters working together left them puzzled and a little envious. Two Psyker Masters turning up at once to take down a Beast General-level monster was a strange stroke of luck. Wu Zhuang lowered his binoculars and muttered, more to himself than to the others. Curious. Very curious. Chapter 57, Phantom Butterfly's Crystal Core. Not long after, Luo Xia and his older brother Luo Feng reached a secure residential building. They stepped into an unscathed room, closed the door, and went to the window to look around. After scanning the area and finding no one suspicious, Luo Xia relaxed. Those who were tailing us shouldn't have followed, he said. Luo Feng let out a breath. They probably hesitated once they saw us use mental power. If the Watchers had been ordinary martial artists, they might have tried to rob them. The phantom butterfly was too valuable. Luo Xia frowned. Big brother, it won't be long before people figure out we're Psyker Masters. Should we tell the curator and the others? Luo Feng considered this. We'll tell them when we get back, but there's no need to announce we're Psyker Masters. He paused. With our current physical levels, you're approaching intermediate warrior, and I'm holding steady at advanced warrior. That's enough to get the dojo's attention. Luo Xia nodded. So we head back to the supply base and sell the phantom butterfly? Yes. We've been killing so many Beast General-level monsters lately, we're running out of storage space for the materials, Luo Feng said. Luo Xia had no objection. The two brothers rested in the room for the night and returned to the supply base the next day. 2 days later, they were back at the supply base. They found the familiar merchant Lu and sold off the less valuable monster parts. Over their recent hunts, they'd collected materials from 9 Beast General-level monsters, including the phantom butterfly. They only sold the materials from the other 8 to Merchant Lu. They planned to take the phantom butterfly itself to the base city market. The 8 Beast General materials fetched 400 million in total, about 30 million per monster, a normal price for that tier. The Beast Soldier-level parts brought in nearly 8 million. All right, Luo Feng said as they returned to their private villa, let's take the phantom butterfly to the HR Alliance Mall and sell it. Luo Xia was still examining the crystal core they'd extracted from the phantom butterfly's head. It was a fist-sized, 5-colored rhomboid crystal, pure and radiant with mental energy. Psyker Masters could absorb the mental energy from such cores to strengthen their own mental power. The mental energy in this thing is enormous, Luo Xia said. If you fully absorb it, big brother, you could raise your mental power all the way to intermediate war god. Luo Feng smiled and shook his head. You should use it. Maybe it would push you past your next breakthrough in one go. Luo Xia was touched for a moment, but he shook his head. This phantom butterfly crystal is most effective for Psyker Masters below war god level. I wouldn't gain much. I'm already an intermediate war god in terms of mental power. War god level people absorb barely anything from these cores. Is that so? Luo Feng asked. Yes, I've heard of war god level powerhouses hunting phantom butterflies before. Their gains from the crystal cores were negligible. Luo Feng thought it over and nodded. He carefully put the crystal core away. The rest of the phantom butterfly is valuable too. Its wings can be processed into a hallucinogenic powder strong enough to mess with lord-level monsters. Almost every part of the phantom butterfly was a treasure. Luo Xia and Luo Feng estimated that, even without the crystal core, the creature could sell for at least 500 million. We'll sell the phantom butterfly. Then head back to 023 City to continue cultivating, Luo Feng said. Once I reach Intermediate Warrior, we'll apply to the dojo for a spot in the elite training camp. They had heard about the dojo of limits training camps. There were two kinds, the basic training camp for talented martial artists worldwide, and the elite training camp, also called the War God training camp. Entry to the elite camp practically ensured someone would become a war god, barring accidents, but its standards were strict, with limited slots per country. Some families spent tens of billions and still couldn't get in. With their aptitudes, Luo Feng and Luo Xia believed they stood a good chance. Luo Xia packed the Phantom Butterfly materials, and the brothers took the train back to the base city under HR Alliance escort. They arrived quickly at the HR Alliance Mall entrance. It's Monday, Luo Xia said, glancing at his wristwatch. Senior Shushin shouldn't be working today. Luo Feng blinked. I've lost track of days since we started cultivating full-time, he admitted. But it's okay, we're not here just to see her. Are you sure? Luo Xia teased as they walked toward the mall's ground floor hall. Do you call Senior Shushin every day? Luo Feng scratched his head. I don't have time. We train all day. By the time I could, she'd probably be asleep. Luo Xia grinned. That won't win her over. If you want Senior Shushin, you need to message her every day, no matter what. Wouldn't that just annoy her? Luo Feng asked hesitantly. She wouldn't have told you last time that she works weekends if she thought you were bothersome, Luo Xia said. I think she likes you a little. You need to keep in touch. Luo Feng nodded, a little hesitant but willing to try. At that moment, a young man approached. He froze when he saw Luo Xia, then forced a step forward when he recognized Luo Feng. You two, Luo Xia, Luo Feng, back from the wilderness area? Luo Feng studied him for a moment, trying to place him. Oh, young Master Shu, Luo Xia said, smiling, and introduced him to his brother. Big brother, this is Senior Shu Shin's older brother. When you were talking to Shu Shin last time, I had a friendly exchange with him. Shu Gang's mouth twitched. Friendly exchange? He forced a polite smile and inclined his head. Inside, he thought wryly, friendly exchange? You mean the footprint you stomped into the floor that nearly crushed me? Luo Feng, standing nearby, glanced at his younger brother when Luo Xia began speaking in that cutting tone. He could tell from the way Luo Xia had reacted that Shu Gang, Shu Shin's brother, must have said something to offend him during their last encounter. He didn't know the specifics, but his brow tightened for a moment before he stepped forward and greeted Shu Gang politely. So you're Shu Shin's brother. Hello. Shu Gang gave a small nod, looking at Luo Xia with a slightly awkward expression. Did you two just come back from the wilderness area? He asked. We did, Luo Feng replied. We're here to sell some monster materials in the mall. Have you contacted the manager here yet? Shu Gang asked. Luo Feng shook his head. They had no connections at this HR Alliance mall, unlike last time when Captain Gao Feng had been involved. Shu Gang's expression softened into a mild smile. If you haven't, you'll be waiting a long time to see the manager, he said. If you two trust me, I can call a procurement manager for you. Luo Xia raised an eyebrow at the offer. This man really could switch attitudes fast. As Luo Xia considered, he noticed his brother's eyes on him and gave a small nod. Luo Feng, seeing no objection, answered, All right, we'll trouble you, Mr. Shu. Shu Gang laughed. Please don't be so formal. Call me Shu Gang. Brother Shu is fine too. Luo Feng smiled and accepted. Shu Gang pulled out his phone and made a quick call. Hello, old Gao. It's me. I've got two martial artists here who want to sell monster materials. Can your procurement assistant come down? A moment later, he told them, Done. An assistant will be down shortly. Thank you, Brother Shu, Luo Feng said. Don't mention it, Shu Gang replied, but his thoughts ran ahead. Now that he knew Luo Xia might be truly exceptional, he no longer wanted to stand in the way of Shu Shin and Luo Feng. If Luo Xia's talent proved real, he wanted to make sure he was on good terms with them. It wouldn't hurt to make a good impression. Before long, a woman in a neat business suit approached. Young Master Shu, hello. I'm Manager Gao's assistant, Liu Rui. Are these the martial artists you mentioned? That's them. Please take them up to Old Gao, Shu Gang said. Liu Rui smiled and gestured them into the elevator. As she swiped her ID and pressed the button for the 31st floor, Luo Feng leaned close to Luo Xia. Did Shu Gang say something to you last time? He asked quietly. Luo Xia didn't hide it. He spoke rather nastily. I just scared him a little. Honestly, if he hadn't been Shu Xin's brother, I would have taught him a lesson back then. Luo Feng raised an eyebrow. What did he say? He said our family wasn't worthy of the Shu family, Luo Xia said, and that you shouldn't dream of a toad trying to eat swan meat. He made a face. I swear his expression was begging to be punched. Luo Feng's jaw tightened. All right, leave it to me then. Don't, Luo Xia cut him off. If you still want to pursue Shu Xin, don't make it worse. Her brother is arrogant, but that's just how some people are. If Shu Xin is a good person, she's worth pursuing regardless of her family. Luo Feng nodded. He liked Shu Xin for who she was, not for her family name. With their talent and current strength, he wasn't worried about what the Su family thought. He could change their minds later if he needed to. The elevator was small, and Liu Rui had overheard enough to be intrigued. She thought to herself that these two brothers were unusually bold. One of them had to be special for them to talk about roughing up the eldest young master of the Su family without fear. On the 31st floor, they entered a luxurious office. Manager Gao, a shrewd, capable-looking middle-aged man, greeted them warmly and had Liu Rui lay out tea. Once everyone was seated, Gao asked with a smile, "So what sort of monster materials are you selling?" Luo Xia unshouldered his pack and set the phantom butterfly corpse on the table. Manager Gao's face lit up. "A phantom butterfly. It's beast general level," Luo Feng said. "We were lucky enough to encounter and take it down." Gao leaned in, examining the corpse closely. After a moment, his expression shifted and he frowned. "This specimen is very well preserved, but where is the core?" "We're not selling the core," Luo Xia replied plainly. Manager Gao's brows knitted. "The phantom butterfly's core is the most valuable part. A specimen this size is at least elementary beast general level. If you had the core, I could offer you 1.5 billion yuan for both the core and the corpse. Are you sure you won't sell it?" Luo Xia and Luo Feng exchanged a look and shook their heads together. "We're only selling the corpse, Manager Gao," Luo Feng said. Gao weighed the situation. "The core is mainly useful to Psyker Masters. Could one of these brothers be one? That would explain why young Master Shu had taken the trouble to recommend them. He didn't want to offend potential Psyker Masters. If the core wasn't available, there was little choice. If it's just the corpse, he said, I can offer you 500 million yuan. Luo Feng and Luo Xia had checked market data before coming. Without the core, 500 million yuan was about the maximum the corpse could fetch. They nodded. All right, 500 million, deal. Gao brightened. He regretted not getting the core, but befriending skilled martial artists could expand his procurement network. Liu Rui, draft the purchase contract. Within minutes, the paperwork was underway, and the agreed amount was transferred to their shared account. Manager Gao clasped his hands in a friendly gesture. If you two find any more quality materials in the future, come straight to me. I'll give you a very fair price. Thank you, Luo Feng replied. They exchanged pleasantries, accepted the contract, and left the office with the payment secured. Another profitable trip out of the wilderness concluded. Chapter 59, Purple Gold Lion and the Second Stage of the Sword Dao. After selling the Phantom Butterfly, Luo Xia and Luo Feng didn't go home. They stayed in 023 City to continue cultivating. For the next month, they threw themselves into training. Luo Feng's strength rose quickly, thanks to absorbing the Phantom Butterfly's crystal core, while Luo Xia's physique improved as well. He still ranked as an advanced warrior, but he was nearly finished with the second stage of his self-created Sword Dao. On this day, Luo Xia was facing an advanced beast general, a purple gold lion, while Luo Feng supported him from the side, dispatching the beast soldier-level monsters under the lion's command. The purple gold lion was terrifyingly powerful. Although officially a beast general, its strength was flirting with the elementary lord tier. Its body was enormous, 8 or 9 meters long, 3 or 4 meters tall, muscles rippling beneath wild swaths of purple and gold fur. The lion roared and launched itself at Luo Xia. Its speed had broken the sound barrier. It moved with a teleport-like blur and struck with a savage claw. The air hissed as the lion's claws sliced through it. Even before they connected, Luo Xia felt a ripping force along his skin. The purple gold lion outclassed the silver moon dire wolf they'd fought before in strength, defense, and speed. If Luo Xia hadn't leveled up to an advanced warrior, he would have been eaten in one strike. Luo Xia's expression tightened. He raised his longsword to block. Clang! Blade met claw with a thunderous impact, and the force shoved him back. But another claw came in from the side like a gale, too fast to block normally. At that moment, he had no time for a conventional parry. He forced the fourfold force exertion technique into his body, what practitioners in this world called amplitude, a multiplier of one's physical output. Luo Xia had trained the technique so that his amplitude could be increased in stages. He could already reach a fourfold amplitude in strength, and with practice, he had learned to apply it to speed and defense as well. He pushed his speed to 4 times its baseline, and in an instant, he vanished from the lion's sight. The purple gold lion, possessing near-human instinct, froze in surprise. Luo Xia reappeared at the beast's flank and slashed with a single, sudden stroke. The longsword cut deep. The purple gold lion howled in pain and staggered out of reach. Amplifying his strength fourfold had pushed Luo Xia up to the intermediate god of war level for that attack. Even such a fearsome beast, close in strength to an elementary lord, but still only an advanced beast general, bore a severe wound from that single strike. The lion's eyes reddened in fury. Its roar swelled into an earth-shaking bellow, and its already massive form seemed to grow larger as an overwhelming aura erupted outward. Luo Xia steadied his grip on the sword, calm amid the storm. He narrowed his eyes and murmured, "Time to try the second stage of the sword Dao." His sword caught the sunlight coldly. Luo Xia pushed his training further. The second stage required an 8-fold force exertion technique. He first channeled it into speed. With a rush of wind, he vanished again, this time so fast that only a smeared afterimage remained to observers. In Luo Feng's view, his younger brother's speed had spiked dramatically. Before Luo Feng could react, Luo Xia was already hovering above the purple gold lion's head. With the power of 8-fold amplitude focused into a single strike, he drove his sword down toward the beast's forehead. There was a sonic boom as air itself fractured. The long sword, carrying 8 times Luo Xia's baseline strength, leapt into the advanced god of war level and pierced the lion's incredibly hard brow. The blade tore into brain and bone. Sword chi shredded the creature's mind. The purple gold lion's eyes went blank as it let out a final mournful roar. It collapsed in a thunderous heap, raising a cloud of dust as it fell. Luo Xia dropped lightly from the creature's head. Blood beaded and dripped along the grooves of his longsword. He frowned at the blade. The 5 Series Silver Moon longsword is getting worn. It already has cracks. Luo Feng finished off and looted the remaining beast soldiers, then wiped his Blood Shadow battle blade clean. Hearing Luo Xia, he replied, "We've made a lot lately. When we go back, we can replace our weapons, try to get 7 Series or even 8 Series. We'll see," Luo Xia answered, using a throwing knife to cut away valuable materials from the dead lion. Luo Feng watched his brother and asked, "I saw your speed and power spike just now. Is the second stage of your sword Dao complete?" Luo Xia smiled as he worked. "Pretty much. I still need to practice to make it smooth, but it's essentially mastered." "Can the force exertion technique be applied to speed as well?" Luo Feng pressed. "Of course," Luo Xia said. "Force exertion is essentially control over physical output, amplitude. You can multiply strength, speed, or defense, but you have to train how to allocate it. It's easier to use it for raw attack at first. Applying it to speed or defense requires different adjustments." Luo Feng considered that. When he had cultivated the 9 heavy Thunderblade, he had only ever used amplitude to boost attack power. He hadn't thought to adapt it for agility or protection. Now, trying it for himself, he found it more difficult to control amplitude for speed or defense than for offense. The subtleties of distribution and timing were demanding. They finished stripping the carcass, gathering the valuable materials that would fund their next upgrades. Outside, the dust settled over the fallen purple gold lion as the 2 brothers prepared to head back and continue their cultivation, stronger and one step closer to mastering the full sweep of the sword Dao.